FM HD2 Tacoma.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Presented by Simply Seattle.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Oh, yes. Hello. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com, and the Seattle Sports app, plus all the podcast platforms, all of them everywhere. Yeah, the whole deal. I was just writing something. Do you guys mind if I finish writing, or should I? You want to start the show?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to do
discuss.
I wanted to do a quick little morning poll. Just a quick poll. It's not a full poll because obviously I'm launching it at 6 a.m. It's not exactly like prime poll time, but in the spirit of the season, with Ipsos and all the other polls out there, New York Times, Siena, Quinnipiac, everybody else launching their polls, I thought I would have like just a quick little poll this morning. And I don't know, I was almost done writing it when the stupid show had to start. Like, I mean, trying to get stuff done, and this show just goes on. Like that music starts whether you ask for it or not.
Not for Brock, but yeah.
Do you blame Julio for what happened last night? Simple question. Do you blame Julio for what happened last night? Yes or no? Simple question. So for anybody who may have missed it, and that was in the 10th, right, Lyle?
It was.
That was in the 10th. Okay. So let me launch this poll here, right? I just got to write yes and no, and then we got to press post. Okay, it's up on X. Do you blame Julio? Was that his fault? Straight up answer. Give me a yes or no.
No, I mean, if yesterday we're saying people were being too hard on Robles, I think I forgive who. Like, I
who
understand.
said we were being too hard on Robles?
I thought you were saying that people were out for blood and.
Well, I didn't say that they were wrong. Just that people were really mad for good reason. I don't think we were hard enough on Robles.
Okay, well, I didn't think that was quite your take.
Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, I was not happy with Robles.
I understood why Julio did that. It was scary in the moment.
Do you blame Julio, yes or no?
No.
Lyle? The reaction. Do you blame Julio, yes or no? You want a minute to think? Do you want 30 seconds to think?
No,
Take 30 seconds. I'm going to play the sound. Here's what happened. For anybody who went to bed early, right, and you missed what happened in the 10th inning, Mariners down a run in the 10th. They get the ghost runner on stupid zombie runner on second. God, I hate that stupid thing.
We know.
Cal gets a little bloop single, so you go first and third, nobody out, Randy at bat.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss, and the bat goes flying out of his hands, and it almost hits Julio, who gets off the bag in foul territory. Wells throws to third. The tag is made, and Julio is out.
Okay. Do you blame Julio?
Not for Randy checking his bat, but I don't really know where he was going after that.
Do you blame Julio?
Partially.
Why is this quite no? Yes or no? Do you blame him? Do you blame Julio for what happened in the 10th inning?
Again, I think it's complicated.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Me, simple answer, no. I don't blame Julio for that. There's plenty of things in this world that I'm willing to blame people for, but I'm not willing to blame Julio for dodging a bat and then being out. I think that's ridiculous. And I am as angry as, look, you guys know me. Mental mistakes drive me nuts. Mental mistakes drive me crazy on a baseball field. Can't have them. And that's one of the things that I've loved so much about the Scott Servais era of being the Mariners manager is that this team has not made a lot of mental mistakes. They don't. They make physical ones. Certainly in the batter's box, they've had their problems. But Scott's teams, by and large, over the long course of time, he was the manager here, with good teams, with bad teams, with young teams, with old teams, with contending teams, with rebuilding teams. They didn't make a lot of mental mistakes. Contrast that to his predecessor, Lloyd McClendon, whose teams made them constantly. I know what teams look like that make mental mistakes. Scott's teams have not been that at all. If a bat is flying at your head and you duck and run away to get away from it, they should call timeout. That should be timeout. The umpire, after the strikeout, should have put his arms up in the air and said timeout. I don't know if that's the rule or not, but it damn as well should be. That should not be on the runner who's now gotten out of the way of a projectile flying at his head. I don't blame Julio for that at all. Zero. I do not blame him. I understand if you do. Plenty of people do. In fact, in the quick voting in the poll, 72% blame Julio. I'm happy. Look, Julio's had all kinds of problems this year. I don't blame him in that moment. He's getting out of the way of a bat. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think that in that moment his head is going. Now, is there an overall concentration question about this team right now? Yes. Do these things add up night after night? Yes. Why is Randy letting that bat go flying down to third base? It was not a good at bat from him in that spot at all. Why have you only scored one run all night? Why is Justin Turner not running on the fly ball that he hit to center field that ended up not being caught and he was lucky to be in there for a double? Like, I think there's some real questions about what the Mariners have done over the last couple days, and it's not like I'm afraid to say them. In fact, I just said a few of them right in a row. But you're going to blame a guy who has a bat thrown at his head for not immediately running back to the base? Why doesn't the ump call timeout? What am I missing? Call timeout. The play should be dead. There was a strikeout, and there's a bat on the field. Is that convincing?
Yeah, I mean, you're making good points. I really don't know why time wasn't called. That I can get on board with you with. I'm still kind of curious why, like, after the bat got past him, like he was kind of running almost toward the third base dugout. I just don't really know where he was going.
He was being like most people in that moment. Like when you get a ball chucked at your head at the plate and you duck out of the way and then you sort of end up sort of running around afterwards. That's not uncommon. You see that all the time. You see that constantly in sports, right? Guy immediately avoids something and then it sort of ends up running away. You probably have done it in your own life, not just on a sports field. You've probably done it in your own life. Walking down the street, eyes are down, you're looking at your phone because you're Gen Z, and you look, all of a sudden you almost get hit by something. Oh my God, you sort of jump away. That's not uncommon. That's a natural human reaction. Yes, I absolutely want my baseball players this time of year to be as locked in as possible. No one is disputing that. And the Mariners have never, ever, at any point this year, reached locked in level. It's never happened for this team, which is one of the reasons they're in all likelihood not going to make the playoffs. And right now, we'll see whether they finish at 500 or not. But I'm not going to blame a dude for not immediately thinking of running to the base after he's nearly killed by a flying bat. I think that's unfair. I really do. So that's my take on it this morning. I feel bad.
All right, that's fair.
I do feel bad for Julio in that spot. I think that's a tough break. I really do. And I've never seen it in my life. Have you ever seen that?
No, in fact, there was a stat about this I saw earlier today. Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, I saw that like in the 10th inning and this and that. But like just in general, has anybody ever been called out after dodging a bat? What?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy. I do feel like there's things that you should be you should know the number of outs. Like there's a lot of things that you should be expected to know in a game of baseball. You should be expected to run hard in your moment. Like there's all these things that I think are absolutely incumbent upon people in the game, players. I don't think it's incumbent on you to, after avoiding being hit by a flying bat, know exactly to expect that the game is still being played. That game in that moment should be it should be a dead ball.
Okay, so counterpoint. I think Randy needs to put some pine tar on his bat because
totally
he chucks
agree.
the bat a lot.
Hey, if you want to see my notes, here's my notes for today. The first one says, Julio, oh Julio, wherefore are you doing Julio? It's my attempt at Shakespeare. My second note says, I don't blame Julio. My third note says, Randy, what in the world are you doing? That's a terrible at bat, and why is it flying out of your hands in that situation? My third note says, this team has never locked it in. All of those things I think can be true at once. But if you're asking me where I think the blame lies in that moment, I can't put it at the feet of Julio Rodriguez. I just can't. Not after he's avoiding a bat flying at his head. Bunch of text messages. If Julio was hitting 300, I'd have a little more grace. Fair? Totally understand that line of thinking. I still think it's a mental error, but I'm more mad about Arozarena striking out with no outs and a guy on third. My goodness, I can't watch that anymore. Totally with you. Right there with you, 509. Mike, he's getting out of the way at the moment the bat whizzed past him. After that instant, he's got to have the awareness that time has not been called. I don't think so. I'm going to disagree. I don't. I think that you're giving it a lot more, that there was a lot more time that elapsed in between. 206 agrees, extremely unfair. Is there an MLB rules guy you can call it? Well, I don't know whether it was actually the rule that he should have called timeout. I'm guessing that that's some sort of a umpire discretion. By the way, the umpire last night was awful, horrendous, and mostly in favor of the Mariners, by the way, but horrendous calls. So the fact that he wasn't exactly on it in that moment doesn't shock me. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. You can blame Julio if you want. You can blame the offense for scoring a grand total of 1 run in that moment. You can blame, the manager. You can, I don't care. Blame Jerry. Blame whoever you want. The fact of the matter is, we just said the Mariners needed to go 10-2 in their last 12, and they responded by losing the first 2 games to New York, and they got 1 more today. And they lost it the end of it was something I've never seen before. The previous 9 innings and, 1 out, the previous 28 outs were exactly what I've seen all year. So, all right, that part was crazy. We can choose to focus on it. And I'll defend Julio because honestly, I just think he deserves it. But come on, it's the same game we've seen. Maybe they can fire Scott again. We'll come right back. It is Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
If you were the Seahawks, who's a player you would use more, and how would you do it?
Come on, man. I've been saying this name for 2-3 years now.
D. Eskridge.
No, 2 years. D's gone.
I know D's gone. D's gone. Okay. Oh, can I take one more guess?
Yeah, go for it.
Kobe Bryant?
No, you get one more.
Okay. You've been Kenny McIntosh.
Kenny McIntosh. Yes. Get this young man out there. Line him up in the slot. Have him run some swings, some outs, because he needs the football in his hands. The longer you get into the season, the more weapons you're going to want to use.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
911, what is your emergency?
There's a fire in my building. Please send help right away.
What is the address of the fire?
My address. Hold on. Oh, wait. The fire sprinkler just went off, and it's putting out the fire.
Good to hear. The fire department will still be dispatched as a precaution.
Fires are fast, but fire sprinklers are faster. Fire sprinklers get water on a fire immediately to protect you and your property. Install fire sprinklers in your home or business today. Brought to you by Puget Sound Area Fire Protection Contractors.
Uh-oh. Looks like your plumbing just threw a Hail Mary into the wrong end zone. But don't worry, folks. Flowhawks Plumbing and Septic is here to intercept the mess. From busted pipes to clogged drains, we've got the plays that'll turn your plumbing fumble into a winning touchdown. Why risk a penalty? Call Flowhawks, the hometown heroes who will blitz that plumbing problem before it costs you the game. Because when your pipes are on the line, we bring our A game. Talk to the Hawk. 1-800-FLOWHAWK. That's 1-800-FLOHAWK.
How would you like to have a brand new roof in time for winter? And even better, how about an honest local contractor known for their quality work? If you use Asset Roofing, you will have both. I can personally recommend Asset Roofing. Now through winter, if you need your roof replaced, make sure you get a bid from Asset Roofing. Get a free estimate now at AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Testosterone, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BREAK to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BREAK to 321-321. That's BREAK to 321-321.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Sinking or uneven concrete around your home? You need to call Matt Vey Foundation Repair.
Hi, I'm Matthew Cote with Matt Vey Foundation Repair. If you have an uneven, cracked driveway, sunken sidewalk, or sagging cement porch, we offer an easy and cost-effective solution.
When you call Matt Vey, you'll get a realistic bid, meticulous cleanup, and a lifetime warranty. No one else offers that kind of guarantee. For your free evaluation, call 8449-MATT-VEY or visit gomattvey.com.
Do it the right way, the Matt Vey way. Rock built, rock solid.
Mariners 2025 season ticket memberships are on sale now, and there are 2 great options to choose from. With a flex plan, you can select your games as you go and switch up your seating location throughout the season. And with a reserved plan, well, you can lock in your games and seats from the moment you come on board. Either way, enjoy access to exclusive pre-sales, no ticket fees, year-round discounts, including at the team store and Hatback Bar and Grill, and so much more. Go to mariners.com/25 today to learn more all about the benefits of becoming a member.
Are you constantly dealing with a runny nose, congestion, or sinus drip? Always having to clear your throat or coughing? Hey, it's Dr. Ryan Stern of the Stern Sinus Center. Rhine Air is a simple, non-invasive procedure that significantly reduces your postnasal drip and stuffiness. A recent clinical study shows almost 9 out of 10 Rhine Air patients get significant improvement in their breathing and runny nose. We're proud this year the Stern Sinus Center was just named a nationwide center of excellence. Schedule your appointment in Auburn or Federal Way or go to sternsinus.com.
Hey, college students, want to save more on groceries? Every dollar counts, so my friends at Safeway are helping by giving all university, community, and technical college students an extra 5% savings every day. It's called Safeway for You. Sign up is free and easy. Safeway for You members get extra savings with perks, points, and free products. For all the details and terms, visit Safeway.com/FOR and the letter U. That's Safeway.com/for-you.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Yeah, there are losses, and then there are losses. And that one last night for the Mariners was a big wow. Lots of credit to Bryce Miller. Seriously, he battled through 6 innings of 1-run ball despite not really having his good stuff, especially early in that game. He didn't give up. Nice job by him. Credit to Justin Turner. He managed a solo shot to tie things up, but you left so many men on base. And then the moment that a lot of folks will be talking about, a Cal single to move Julio to third in the 10th. Things got a little weird as Randy Arozarena strikes out. The bat flies at Julio's head. He runs away. He gets tagged out. Yeah, that was bizarre.
You know, kind of a freak scenario there at the end with the bat coming down there, and just kind of a reactionary thing, and this is a tougher one to lose. This is it was a great ball game on all fronts, and a tough one to lose. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to talk to him about it, but it looked like just kind of a reaction and kind of get out of the way, and I don't think I've ever seen that before in a game. Just a strange situation.
Dan, almost at a loss for words, and understandably, second straight game that, something on the basis has cost them. Obviously, you can't have that. I don't really blame Julio, but again, the luck of the whole thing of going down that way for a team fighting and scrapping with no margin for error, you just can't have something like that happen in the moment. Here's what Julio had to say about it.
Yeah, after I saw the bat, I thought it was going to be the dead play, and then they were going to pick up the bat, and I was going to go back to third. But whenever I saw that I got away, I turned my back of the field, and then I hear Manny yelling, get back to third. That's when I got back to third, honestly. At that moment, I wasn't really thinking about the game, just kind of getting away from the bat coming at me. And, yeah, that's what happened. That was the first for me for sure.
Yeah, I think that's actually fairly understandable. But here's the problem. Astros lose, Twins lose, Royals lose. Only the Tigers won. You did have an opportunity to gain a game back on just about everybody. And whereas you and the Tigers were tied just a couple days ago, now the Tigers are a half game out of the wild card, and you're sitting here just unable to make up any ground. It's a huge bummer.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
All right, Seahawks first injury report of the week, and there were a lot of names on it. I don't have time and need to know to read them all to you, but here's a few. Ken Walker, Laken Tomlinson, Jerome Baker, Chenna, Boye, Kayvon Wallace, Leonard Williams, DK Metcalf, all didn't practice yesterday. We'll see today how many of those guys were just kind of getting an extra day off. Maybe good news that both Pharaoh Brown and George Fant was at least a limited participant, but then you see Tyler on there, Derek Hall on there, Devin Witherspoon on there. My gosh, it's like a huge portion of the team. So maybe today will give us a little bit of a better view as to just how serious some of these things are. Meanwhile, we've got Hall of Fame time. 16 new candidates eligible for the Football Hall of Fame, including a couple of ex-Seahawks, Marshawn Lynch and Earl Thomas. Are they Hall of Famers? Here's my criteria for the Hall of Fame. I don't need numbers for the most part. Were you one of the dominant players at your position in your era? That's kind of my criteria for any Hall of Fame, baseball included, which I know is more of a numbers fest. Were you one of the dominant players of your generation? Marshawn Lynch absolutely was that. I don't care what his numbers say. Marshawn Lynch to me is a Hall of Famer. Earl Thomas was one of the dominant players of his generation. I think Earl Thomas is a Hall of Famer. Both of them have, cases against them. Earl in terms of how long he played, and certainly Marshawn, just in the numbers are not necessarily 100% normal, whatever. I don't care. Dominant players of their generation, they should absolutely both be in the Hall of Fame. A couple of the other guys who were up for it for the first time, Eli Manning, come back to that one. Luke Kuechly, Hall of Famer. Dominant player of his generation at his position. Terrell Suggs, Hall of Famer in my book. Adam Vinatieri, Hall of Famer. All of those guys, I think, are Hall of Famers, except for Eli Manning. I know he's got the 2 Super Bowls. He wasn't one of the dominant players of his generation. I don't think I could put him into the Hall of Fame.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
And then training camp starting today for the Kraken. They're going to bounce back, hopefully, under new head coach Dan Bilesma. They're busy this offseason, right? Twice dipped into the premium free agent pool for forward Chandler Stevenson, defenseman Brandon Montour. And I got to see. I'm excited. Well, how's Bilesma slot those guys into the line combos? Hopefully we'll start to see that later today, but I don't know because it looks like they're dividing their whole group into 3 different groups and practicing at different times. So I don't know how much we'll get to see of these forthcoming line combos. Seattle Storm lost their final home game to the Las Vegas Aces last night. Finished the regular season in Phoenix at 7. So, as of now, Seattle enters the playoffs as the 5th seed. They would face the number 4 seed Aces. So there you go. Playoffs start this weekend. That's everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. Salk Laken was NIR. Good. Yes. No, I know. A few of them were non-injury related. They're just resting veterans. But, man, there's a lot of people on that list. You look at it, you're like, whew, man.
Yeah, it's a little overwhelming at first.
It's a little Thank you, Maura. Yes, it was a little overwhelming. G. Scott today at 8:30. We've got Here's the Thing at 8 o'clock. I just took a quick perusal of what you had on the Here's the Thing list, Maura. It looks pretty impressive.
Yeah, there were some good ones.
It looks like there's some good stuff. Maybe people are starting to understand it. That's kind of exciting. So we'll
and some new names because
really?
Some people annoyed that we were hearing from some of the same. It's the Bees. We got a lot of Brad, Brent, and
Brock.
Brock, yes.
All right. So that's at 8 o'clock this morning. Shannon will join us. We'll get her sense as to what's going on with the Mariners and what the heck happened in the 10th inning last night. That's at 7:30. G. Scott at 8:30. Coming up next, though, man, I really enjoyed Trent Green yesterday. A really smart, insightful look at the Seahawks, who they are, and kind of the NFL in general. I ended up writing last night about Mike McDonald and how impressed I am with him. You can read that at seattlesports.com. I think you'll hear very much the same thing and the same energy from Trent Green. He's next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
After this weekend, 3 games in, Mike McDonald could be dealing with something that he probably thought he wouldn't be dealing with all the hype behind the Seattle Seahawks. For the national perspective, if they're 3-0, people are going to be like, oh my God, Hawks are contenders.
Yeah.
But we know they got to tweak some.
I almost want, even though I would always root for an underdog, the Saints to lose, because if they drop anywhere close to 40 on the Eagles, they're going to be the story, and the Seahawks are going to be, hello? What about me?
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
West Coast Men's Health has helped thousands of men overcome erectile dysfunction and Peyronie's disease using acoustic wave therapy. No pills and no shots. But it's not our success stories that separate us from the other clinics. It's how we interact with our patients. From your first call, our medical staff will take the time to answer your questions, whether it's about your ED, how our treatment works, or even about the cost. Our goal is to inform and educate you so you're comfortable when you come in for your first visit. So if you're tired of frustrating nights, you're ready to get off Viagra and put an end to your ED or Peyronie's disease, stop living with this problem and do something about it. Give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
As fall and winter weather sets in, your lawn becomes a muddy mess, and your kids and pets bring the mud inside. But with Synthetic Turf Northwest, you can have a lush, green yard year-round. No mud, no mess. Their premium synthetic turf systems drain fast and stay clean, no matter how hard it rains. Right now, during the Fall Blitz, you can save up to $1,500 on a new synthetic lawn. So say goodbye to muddy paws and say hello to your dream lawn. Call Synthetic Turf Northwest today or visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com to get started.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on seattlesports.com.
Roof now, pay later. Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing.
Take advantage of our 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to a year. We've partnered with leading lenders to make the replacement or repair of your roof affordable. Flexible financing options are available to take the worry out of an unexpected expense. Call us today at 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule a free no-obligation estimate or visit us at stateroofing.com. That's stateroofing.com.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
It's football season, and that means colder weather is on the way. If it's time to update your windows and doors, talk to Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Local owner Keith Dashafee has a great deal just for you.
That's right, Steve. Now you can get 20% off qualifying installations or 0% financing for 24 months with equal payments. Just schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors at PellaPNW.com.
Thanks, Keith. Check out the unbeatable selection of windows and doors today at PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
This is Brock Hewitt. If you're retired or retiring soon and concerned about the future, call Tila Mortgage today to find out the benefits of a reverse mortgage. Tila's been locally owned and trusted right here in the Seattle Metro for over 25 years. Just ask yourself, do I settle for a retirement that just gets me by? I say no. Tila will see if you can retire more comfortably with a home equity conversion mortgage. They can help you refinance your current mortgage and convert a portion of your home's equity into a line of credit, providing benefits like no monthly mortgage payments or cash back to pay off bills, do home improvement projects, or build up a cash reserve for safety and peace of mind. Plus, you get to keep your home. Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Call 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Insurance and property taxes are borrower's responsibility. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046. Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
2-0 Seahawks got an interesting one at home on Sunday as the Dolphins will be in town. Trent Green will be on the call with Kevin Harland on CBS, and he's kind enough to take some time with us right now. Trent, good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, definitely. Good morning.
It's been cool. I mean, I know this is a game CBS probably would have had in the old system too, but it feels like we're getting more, with just cross-pollination. We get to talk to some people that we haven't talked to as much as you guys.
We're tired of the Fox guys. I mean, we've kind of been there.
Right.
I'm like, geez, Slayer doesn't even like, whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. And is it cool for you guys just getting to see more of the league more often now?
It is. It is. When the new TV contract kicked into gear this year, we knew there would be some more crossover games, more opportunities for us to get what would traditionally be Fox games. And, it's, you kind of get, this is year 11 now for me with CBS. So you kind of get to know the coaches and the different systems they run and the players and all that. And sometimes it makes preparation a little easier, but it also makes it a little bit more exciting when you're dealing with new places, new cities, new teams, and, get to learn about that as well. Cause you kind of get caught into your bubble, right? We're all kind of caught in our bubble that we feel comfortable in, and then kind of expanding outside of that. So I'm looking forward to this. We've had some Seahawks games in the past, but it's been a lot of years since I've had a Seahawks game in Seattle. Probably at least 6, 7, 8 years, something like that. So we're looking forward to it.
So if I trust Wikipedia and I trust my math, that would mean when you started 11 years ago at CBS, you were still 9 years older than Mike McDonald is right now doing this.
Isn't that crazy?
As you sit in these production meetings with these young coaches, does it ever just strike you like you're 36 years old?
Right.
I mean, were you still playing it? You were still playing at 36, right?
Yeah, I was. My last year I was 38. So it's interesting going through, and I've talked to Mike a few times over the years, just especially the last couple of years when he was defensive coordinator with Baltimore. So the fact that he's some of these guys, they really kind of there used to be the old thing with coaches where it would be like, okay, you spend time as a position coach and you work up your way up to coordinator, and then you eventually get an opportunity to be head coach, and then the Sean McVays of the world and the Kyle Shanahans of the world and the guys that have jumped into this early. Brandon Staley was early. Mike McDonald was early, right? It's you see the way they're progressing, and they're bringing some innovative ideas and the fresh outlook, and the players are relating to them better. And it's just, you understand why it's happening. But yes, but believe me, Brock, it doesn't go miss on my part when I was like, oh my gosh, I was playing in the league and this guy was in like grade school or something. So yes, I'm aware.
One of the things that jumped out to us about him is how vulnerable he's willing to be. And I don't know how common that is. I can't think of too many other coaches I've been around in any sport that are really willing to say, I don't know that as well. I'm relying on this person because that's not my area of strength or forte. His vulnerability really stands out. And it just makes me think of how much confidence he has to have in order to be willing to talk that way.
Yeah, and it does. You have to have a lot of self-confidence. You have to have belief in what your core values are and what your foundation is to be able to speak those things publicly, because as we know, when you speak them publicly, then all of a sudden it's open to the entire world to interpret what that means. And, let's dive into this and what he's really saying. And, okay, well, maybe he's just telling us the truth. And it's, and I think media, fans, players, front office, bosses, right? They all, that's an endearing quality when someone is willing to show those vulnerabilities and say, listen, I don't know. And it's only, you've got to produce as well. It helps that they've won 2 close games. It helps that, he's shown a great start to his career, but also understanding that, hey, I don't know everything. And I think that sometimes when guys get an opportunity to be a first-time head coach, number one, the mistake that a lot of them make is they hire all their buddies, right? Because it's taken them a while, and they're like, I want to hire my buddies and put all my friends on my staff, and hey, we're gonna, this is something we've talked about forever, and then you do that, and it's, that's not necessarily the best fit, right? Because you have a bunch of guys that are your friends telling you, everything you're doing is great, and then it doesn't go out or work as well as it is. And I think what he did, number one, is really put together a heck of a staff, and it's not guys that he not necessarily knows, right? It's guys that he's pulled from different areas, and understanding that he doesn't know everything, and understanding, that he does need some help, and it's still a work in progress. I was watching just this morning before this phone call. I was watching, going back on the game, and as a quarterback, Brock, you understand this. I look at it from a game management standpoint, right? Where the decisions are to go forward on 4th down. What are your decisions on 3rd down? When do you utilize timeouts? How do you take advantage of penalties? Field position, all those kinds of things. We tend to, as former quarterbacks, we tend to look at games a little bit differently than most people do. And to see how he's handling game management situations and how it evolved from week 1 to week 2 and how it will continue to evolve, I think those are all real positives, especially when you're finding ways to win.
Yeah, so maybe see if you can dig up for Trent his answer about that 4th down call, because I think you'll find it pretty intriguing. We certainly have found it very enlightening, Trent, to Mike's point about just the transparency and the honesty and just kind of walking through the entirety of the process. So here he was, and we get the chance as the flagship to sit with him every Monday, Trent, as we did Pete Carroll. And Salk asked him kind of specifically what goes into that decision there on 4th and 1 to ultimately kick the field goal. Here was the
it'd been great to get it on 3rd down. It was a little bit longer than it comes down to hey, is it 6 inches? Is it a yard? Is it a yard and a half? That plays into what you're going to call and confidence wise of whether to get it. So, and then only having the 2 timeouts is definitely has a plays a factor. The numbers were about even, analytically speaking. Matter of fact, it actually favored slightly to go for it in that situation. There's a lot of factors going on there too, so it's kind of hard to be like, hey, you can't make these cut and dry decisions all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now if they're super favorable and you feel like you got a good play, then I definitely want to stay aggressive in those situations. But for that one, we had a 4th down earlier in the game, could have gone up 7. We had a really good drive going. It was 3rd and longer. I wasn't really necessarily expecting to get to a 4th and 1 there. 4th run was a go going into the series. And, in hindsight, you probably should have kicked it.
It's interesting, Trent, you talked about watching the game through a quarterback's optics and lens and all your experience. And what do we always hear about quarterbacks? Quarterbacks got to process, got to be a processor. Got to process. We don't talk about that enough, I don't think, with head coaches. Isn't that exactly what you're speaking to for a young coach and Mike McDonald, and how important it is to process the entirety of the game and those decisions?
It is, and I can't wait to get a chance to talk to him later in the week when we have our meetings with him, because those are questions, especially first-time head coaches. I thought it was interesting in his answer. He talked about the analytics. So that to me tells me that he has someone in the booth, on the headsets, whatever, that is giving him percentages and does that. And normally all head coaches have that guy, right? Hey, do I need to take this challenge? Hey, what do I do? You have that guy you want to bounce things off of. Sometimes it's more than one person. But to hear him bring up the analytics, that means someone told him, listen, the percentages say we should go for so there's someone I'm sure that he's having those communications with in real time. So trying to make those decisions and the processes that go into it. I found it interesting, once again, talking to newer head coaches, what they go through. Some of them say they have their video staffs put together videos from around the NFL on a weekly basis, like game situations. Okay, this is the end of the half. This is the down and distance. This is the situation. This is the number of timeouts. This is the score. All the things that go into it. I've had coaches tell me this in the past, that every week they would have their video staff put together somewhere from 10 to 15 plays. Here's the end of games, end of half, make decision. This is what they did. How would you handle this? What would you do? And I thought it was really enlightening to hear, coaches have to practice being coaches, right? You have to practice being a head coach. You have to practice, I'm normally a defensive coordinator, so I'm spending all my time on the defense, and I'm talking about what personnel changes and how we want to attack third and short, how we want to attack third and medium, how we want to attack the red zone. Okay, we got a 2-minute situation coming up. Now all of a sudden, you've got to factor in, okay, how am I going to handle my time management here at the end of the half? I've got 2 timeouts. I know the 2-minute warning's already passed. They may potentially be in the field. There's so much more that goes into trying to analyze those end of half, end of game, just situations. When do I throw the challenge flag? If I throw the challenge flag, okay, now if you get one correct, you get an extra one back. If you don't, then you potentially lose that one. It's there's so many things that go into it, and I think how guys handle that, and I'm looking forward to that part of the conversation this week with Mike, and how he has gone about the process of, did it start in the off season where he would start going through tape and, okay, how would I handle this situation? Did it start even before that? Maybe it started as a defensive coordinator and he was already trying to train himself for that. Those are all going to be great conversations. And it sounds like, based on from what you just said and from the answer he gave, he's going to be very forthcoming in how he handled that.
Talking to Trent Green, who's got the game for CBS on Sunday. Or what about just from more of an X and O perspective, as a quarterback, what makes this Mike McDonald system so hard to play against?
The thing I loved, and like I said, I just watched both games this morning because it is fairly early in the prep week, is they won in different ways, right? It's just their defense played well in both, but, against New England, they gave up, I'm sure, and maybe you guys have already heard it from him or will hear it this week. The tackling wasn't very good. So for him as a defensive guy, I'm sure, even though they only gave up a little over 300 yards of offense, I'm sure they're not happy with the runs that they allowed and some of the missed tackles that happened. So I'm sure that's what he's going to harp on. Offensively, I think, finding different ways to win. As I said, I thought they were very well balanced against Denver. The one against New England, it was the passing game that got them going. And, so I like the fact that they've found different ways to win. It's always interesting, the perspective and personality you have with offensive head coaches compared to defensive head coaches, and the fact that, that they're willing to do some things offensively based on who they're playing and how the game's going. I like that. That's early. A lot of times you're like, listen, I'm going to run on first and second down if we have to throw on third down. there's a lot of times defensive coaches kind of get stuck into a mold. But I like the fact that they were two completely different game plans from week 1 to week 2.
Trent, do you ever sit in the box like I do? And I'll look at Benetti sometimes like, man, what a call. Like Benetti's got this brain in these pipes. And do you ever sit there and marvel at Kevin Harland? Because just the pacing and the line drive and the jersey number and the outlines of the colors. And do you ever just sit there and kind of marvel like, man, this guy is just a machine?
Oh, it 100%. And I did it last week. If you go back and listen to our game, Kevin's well, he's famous for many, many things. First of all, he's one of the best to ever do it. We've heard the Monday night call where the squirrel gets on the field in New York, and he's talking about the squirrel running all over the place. We've heard him describing. I made comment last week. We had a blip. We were throwing it back to New York for a studio update, and we could hear Nate, but Nate couldn't hear us. Nate Burleson. And so Nate is, all of a sudden we throw it to him, or Kevin throws it to him, and Nate says, I can't hear anything. And without skipping a beat, Kevin jumps right into it and goes, well, Nate, we can hear you. Go ahead. But Nate can't hear us, so he doesn't go. So then Kevin just jumps right into, well, here we are, and then the Titans roll out, and they throw the ball in the end zone, and, oh, it's a touchdown. And he does this whole thing. Like, he has no idea what the highlight's going to be. He goes in and describes the entire highlight of what just happened in the Tennessee game, and then he jumps back, and they're already snapping the ball in our game. So then he jumps right into play-by-play mode, and you can hear me while he's describing the play that we're going on in our game. You can hear me in the background laughing, which is not a good thing to hear laughter but I'm laughing in the background. And finally, when the play ends, I'm like, Kevin, he described that. If you remember the playoff game a couple years ago, he was in Arrowhead talking about, because it was coming down to the final week. If New England lost to Miami in the final week and Kansas City won, then Kansas City get the home field advantage was going to work. So he's calling two games at one time. Like, he's calling the Chiefs game, and then on his iPad he's got the New England. So he's going back and forth. And then New England, they just got this. And then Kansas City, now all of a sudden, if they win this field, so he called two games at one time. And I don't know if he necessarily was supposed to be doing that, but he did, and it became this historic moment. Well, last week he's doing and I just started laughing. I go, Kevin, you do two games at one time. You're now doing studio work and play-by-play at the same time. So, yeah, he never ceases to amaze me, because no matter what situation, whether it's an animal running on the field or whatever, he finds a way to transition and make it just such a smooth, entertaining type of event. And he's legendary, and I'm glad that we're together in the booth.
We're pretty blessed these days, honestly. I mean, there are some legends, obviously, of the past, but one of the cool things I think about the play-by-play announcers of this generation that are working now is there's a really nice ability to have fun with the job while also being super smooth and professional and all of that. I think it's a pretty good time for it. There's no good way to transition from something fun like that to something not as fun, but I'll do it anyway. The Tua situation is obviously ugly for him, and it dawned on us as we were kind of talking about having you on today that it's one you could probably speak to as well. When you look at his career, what's happened so far, what could happen next, what advice would you have for Tua if he were to call you and ask?
My biggest thing would be just be thorough. I know the immediate reaction from the outside world, and we've heard, a bunch of people talk about it, is always got to retire. So here's the thing, and I went through that. I went through a couple very serious concussions towards the end of my career. Getting lots of opinions from people about what to do. The number one thing is you need to be very thorough with your research and understanding. I thought it was great that the Dolphins decided to put him on IR, like force him to take a month to think about it, at least a month to think about it. And, because he's from what I understand, he was back at the facility, and he's bouncing around, going to meetings, doing, and feeling good, which is great. We all want him that. We all want him to be healthy, as long as possible. And, but I thought it was good they put him on IR, for the short term at least, and to figure out. And, so what I did is I had the team doctors, but because of part of the Players Association, the agreement that we have with the league, you can get independent studies. So I went to Pittsburgh and some of the top people in the country. I went to Boston and dealt with neurologists, neuropsychologists, neurosurgeons. I met with all of them. I wanted independent people to talk to me. So after the one in Kansas City, the major one I had in Kansas City where I missed 8 games, I wanted to make sure, because I felt good after a couple of weeks. I was like, I feel like I can play. And they're like, well, we're not ready to give you any kind of clearance. I said, well, let me just go independently, go out so I went and got opinions. I went and got clearance. I got clearance from 4 or 5 different doctors. That first time I got clearance from 3 doctors. And then after my second concussion in Miami, where they put me on IR. And back then, IR meant you were out for the rest of the year. I did my due diligence and went to even more. So I ended up getting cleared by 4 or 5 doctors. I was seen by 5 doctors. I technically didn't get cleared by one. I just wanted his opinion. But I wanted as much information as possible because I knew I wanted to keep playing, but I didn't know what the long-term effects would be and what would happen. And I wanted to be able to go to my wife and go to my kids and go to my family and say, listen, this is what I've done. I've looked at it as thoroughly as I possibly can. Here are the facts. This is what I know. This is what we know now. It may change in 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years, what they're doing. But right now, this is the information that we have. So that's all I would tell him. Those are very serious and very real conversations that he's going to have with his wife and with his family. His kids are too young to understand. So I like the fact that the Dolphins put him on IR so he can have those conversations and determine on his own. As competitors, whether ankle, head, shoulder, knee, whatever it may be, you want to get back because you're competitive and that's what you've done your whole life. I understand why he wants to get back and be competitive and compete right away. But you also need to understand, at least for me, it was understand the long-term effects, what you want to be as a husband and a father moving forward and for the rest of your life. And so that's what I would tell them. Just make sure you're very thorough with it. You know, you're going to get a lot of opinions. Everybody's going to have an opinion on it. But the one thing I have learned through all of my studies and all of my different doctors that I've dealt with is everyone is different. Every brain injury, every concussion, every head trauma, traumatic brain injuries. I've talked with people in the military. I've talked with athletes. Everybody handles it differently. And some people, what we would consider a minor concussion, have long-term effects for the rest of their lives. Some people that have had major ones where I was knocked unconscious on the field and was asleep for several minutes, which would be considered, oh, that's a big one. You know, fortunately, knock on wood, up until this point, I haven't had any issues. Do I think there may be some down the road? I don't know. You know, I can't predict that. But right now I know I feel good. And I would just tell him, make sure you do your due diligence, make sure you talk to enough people, and then come up with what you think is best for your family and then ultimately with the organization.
Trent, you got to get back to the tape. We've kept you an awful long time. Thank you for all of that. I'd be remiss in the final minute here if I wouldn't get an opinion on Geno Smith. 33 of 44. The next level stats tell us that 44 throws, not one off target. We asked Mike McDonald on Monday. He seconded that. Not one throw was off target out of 44 attempts in the NFL. What is Geno and how is Geno Smith playing right now?
The thing I love about Geno is I covered him a bunch early in his career, and understanding the pressure he was under, like a lot of players are put under pressure right away, especially when they're young, and especially if they're high draft picks. And even more so when you're in the bubble of the New York market. What I've seen over the years and what I've seen the last couple of years and what I've especially seen on the tape, the 2 games I've studied this morning, is he's confident in who he is. And I think all of us as quarterbacks at different stages of your career, some guys come into it when they're high school players. Some guys come into it at college. Some guys, you know, it takes time in the pros. You know, I'm going to switch gears a little bit and say, you know, we had the Viking game last week. Sam Darnold is a different person and a different player than he was a couple of years ago. You can just tell the maturity and the way he's evolved as a player and the way he's learned. He just handles himself better. I see the same exact thing on tape. And once again, like I said with Mike, I can't wait to have a conversation with Geno because I haven't talked to him in a couple of years. I can't wait to just see how he's grown as a person and a player and how you get comfortable in your skin and comfortable in the system and comfortable on a team. It speaks volumes, Brock, and you know because you're around it and have played it, is when you have people around you that are supporting you and lifting you up and it's just your game, no matter what position it is, your game just evolves and you know, it's part of the growth process. And I think that Geno's in a really good spot. I think he's playing outstanding. I thought, you know, the statistics and numbers that you just said, I didn't know those, but you could just see the way that he's throwing and handling himself in the pocket. Like him in the pocket now is so much different than him in the pocket a few years ago, at least in my mind. Like when I'm watching the tape, I'm like, he wouldn't have done that, you know? And I just think there's a comfort that comes with being comfortable in your own skin and understanding where you are as a player and where you are as a team. So, no, I can't wait to talk to him and definitely call his game this weekend because I think he's looking really good.
Well, we're looking forward to watching. Thank you for all of the time this morning, and hopefully...
I know I talk a lot, guys, so I apologize. Maybe I talked right through your commercial break. But
are you kidding me?
Commercial? We don't do that anymore. We're done with commercials. We don't care about
Tremendous
that.
radio guest. Tremendous, Mr. Green.
Trent, thank you. We appreciate it. Good stuff, man. Thank you.
Great talking to you guys. Take care.
Trent Green. Yeah, and a really fun guest yesterday. He's got the Seahawks game on Sunday. All right, Brock will be in here in just a moment. Certainly, I'll get his take on what we saw last night in the 10th inning. Shannon will join us at 7:30. We got G. Scott coming a little bit later. It's a big day. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
2-0.
The Seahawks win the game in overtime against the Patriots.
The Hawks look to remain undefeated as they host Tyreek Hill and the Miami Dolphins.
Geno's going to let it fly. DK's wide open. 10, 5, strides in, touchdown, Seahawks.
This Sunday, Hawks, Dolphins, kickoff 105, pregame starting at 10 on your home for the Hawks, Seattle Sports.
Holy Captain!
I grew up in a very angry time.
A night of comedy at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center.
You were afraid of your dad.
Friday, October 4th. Hold on tight. It's Bill Burr.
Like, I love seeing kids nowadays loving their dad.
Tickets at emeraldqueen.com.
When I was a kid, I was like, Dad, run! Run!
Don't miss Bill Burr, October 4th at the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist you with any lighting issue, as well as help with intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting expert since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
With Floor Coverings International, the mobile flooring showroom comes to you. Book an appointment, pick out the flooring you like, and they'll order and install it for you. It's that easy. Visit fcifloors.com to book an appointment. Floor Coverings International, the stars of flooring.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Well, the seasons, they're changing. The guys are playing the sports outdoors. I know many are starting to maybe pull the lawnmower out and get back to the landscape and the outdoor work. I'm going to guess, Shannon, at IRG, maybe a little busier season?
Oh, absolutely, Brock. You know, we know when the seasons change, particularly when it gets warmer, people are in their houses pretty much all winter long with our cold weather, rain, et cetera, particularly here in the Puget Sound. And everybody's excited. They want to rush out and get going with their activity. I'm telling you, as a physical therapist for 35 years here, you need to prepare your body. So take time to warm up, increase some flexibility, do some stretches, because if you prepare your body and prevent injuries, those activities outside, particularly that exciting thing, mowing your lawn, is going to be healthier and it's going to be a lot more fun.
And you feel better. For more info or to book your appointment today, simply go to irgpt.com. It's all waiting for you right there at irgpt.com.
Are you a skilled plumber looking for a top-rated team? Join Ben's Plumbing, rated 5 stars for exceptional service. Enjoy great pay and benefits, a supportive team, and a non-commissioned plumbing career. Apply now at bens.plumbing. That's bens.plumbing.
Deftones. North American Tour 2025, live in Seattle. Climate Pledge Arena, February 27th. With special guests, the Mars Volta and Fleshwater. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. For more, visit Deftones.com.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to my buddy Richard. Richard, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
The lady I'd been using for a couple of years left, and I had no representation. I heard the advertisements on the radio, and I just said, I got to do this. So I did, and I'll tell you, it's been happy days ever since then.
Were they able to save you money, Richard?
Yeah, it saved me about $3,500 is all.
Wow. Wow.
But I also picked up some other things. I got a personal umbrella because I've got a rental house in Idaho as well.
So what do you tell others, your friends, your family, your people you trust?
You need to call First Mark because they have top-notch customer service. Most companies offer customer no service nowadays. First Mark has the most top-notch customer service I've ever experienced, bar none.
Richard did it. My family did it. You got to go do it. It's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
With NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you can watch every game, every Sunday, all in one place. Which means you can watch the Dolphins and the Broncos and the Lions and the Cowboys and the Jets. Or whoever you're rooting for, all in your living room. But not literally, of course. That would be dangerous. Watch every game every Sunday with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV. Sign up at youtube.com/NFLST. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Get his freaking auto! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
Styled by Simply Seattle.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
The Mariners going to win 10 in a row now, Brock. That's what it's going to take to get to that 10-2 mark we were hoping for in the final 12 games. Unfortunately, another loss last night. Familiar in many ways, but it did come with one big old surprise in the 10th inning. Started off the show this morning asking Maura and asking Lyle and then asking the people on the X platform. Simple question. Do you blame Julio for what happened in the 10th inning?
Mm-hmm.
71.5% of the respondents say yes. That's Julio's fault.
Yes.
Where are you on? Where are you at?
I'm 100%. Yes.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. I'm 100. I mean, he's played baseball a long time. Just because a bat gets thrown doesn't mean it's a dead ball. I know he said that afterwards.
Should
thought
be.
it was. I mean, I guess.
Should be.
But
There's a
it's
bat
not.
thrown at his head. It should be a dead ball.
Okay. But it's not. So you duck out of the way and you get out of the way and you hustle back to the base. And honestly, it wasn't even a bang play. It wasn't even like, oh, wow, that's just, as I've looked at it 2, 3, 4 times, like it wasn't as if the catcher just, threw it down to third base immediately. I think he too was just perplexed and shocked. And why is he, 12 feet away from the base? So he throws down to third. And there was a play earlier this year. Gosh, well, I'm trying to remember what it was. I'm not playing dumb right now. I'm trying to remember what it was as far as baseball etiquette. Like, oh, that's not, somebody got hit or something happened. And it's like, okay, you got to take the double play, but that's really unfortunate. And I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the exact circumstances of it, but we had a long conversation. It's like, no, you got to do that. Like, you just got to, unfortunately, tag the base. And I'm sorry that guy popped his hamstring, but that's the way it goes. Like, you're going to take the double play.
Sure. I do remember that, yes. With a
do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
yes.
I do remember that, yes.
I think it was when Taylor Saucedo had the injury in Minnesota.
There you go. It's exactly what it was. It's exactly what it was.
That was an athletic play.
Yep. Oh, I mean, James Paxton-esque on the agility drill ladder. Yeah, that's exactly what it was, Lyle. And he goes down, and the runner at third, and you see it. He's like, oh, gosh.
I gotta go.
I got to take it. And it was the same thing last night with the Yankees catcher. Like, wow, that kind of sucks, but I got to take the out. And if he's going to be, 15 feet away from the base, I'm going to throw it down. So
my feeling is the umpire should call timeout. There's a bat hurtling at Julio's head. He dives out of the way. There's a strikeout. There's no reason. The ball's not in play at that point. Just call dead ball. Just call timeout. The guy's dodging a bat. He's not making a baseball play at third base. He's not trying to run down the line. He's not trying to steal home. He's not caught halfway between home and third. He's dodging a projectile bat that is flying at his head. I don't blame him for that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I wish the team was more locked in? Yes. Do I think that you've had too many things? Said it earlier. One of the hallmarks of the Scott Service administration during its time was that they didn't make a lot of mental mistakes, especially on the base paths. I think that's relevant. I don't like Justin Turner not running out a ball that he hit to deep center field that all of a sudden he had to get on his horse and giddy up over to second base. I don't like Turner striking out on a pitch right down the middle of the plate for the final out. I don't like Randy Arozarena throwing his bat in an awful strikeout down to third base.
Yep.
Like, there's a million things about last night I hate.
Yep.
But a guy dodging out of the way of a bat flying at his head? Sorry, man, I'm not going to blame Julio for that.
I mean, nope, I understand it. I'm not ripping him. I'm not sitting here going, "What a brain fart! What a dead." Like, I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, that's the one thing about that sport, baseball, and Timmy Kirkstrom would always say it. You just never know. On any given night, you're going to see something crazy.
And I've never seen that.
You never seen that?
Never. Have you?
Oh, not in 15 years of watching the Mariners.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, was somebody thrown out because of that? But as I said, it wasn't even like it'd have been maybe different, Salk, if it was just like a bang, bang, right? If that catcher catches it and all of a sudden, like, he's got an extra lead or whatever. But he waited like 1,001.
Well, right, because Julio sort of did the thing, which a lot of people do when you almost get hit by something and you sort of run away from it.
Yes.
I mean, it's a pretty natural instinct.
You got to make a scene, right? You got to make. I would see you doing that, by the way. I think
a lot of people do that. Most people do that. No. That's a pretty common thing to watch people do.
I could see you getting hit by a golf ball and acting like you just died. Like I could see that.
Stop it! How dare
like if you were Joe Buck's wife, you would have wanted to be hella back out of wherever course you were on.
I was playing with somebody a couple weeks ago. They came real close to getting smoked by a golf ball. It was
it's
real
scary.
close.
Ooh, it is scary when that thing whistles by you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the great Mike Heward is a very impatient golfer, and you do not want to play ahead of him back in the day because he just didn't care, and he was blind, so he would hit it, and you could hear missiles flying by you. So it was just, just added to the list of a bunch of really unfortunate, sometimes self-inflicted, as the night before trying to steal home, sometimes bad luck. I would put that more on the side of bad luck. But unfortunately, like, you're responsible. You just got to find a way to get back to the base and not have that happen, unfortunately. First time in 50 years, by the way. Did you see that floating around the old social media realms?
Because it's a totally insane thing to occur.
Yes.
Like, it's just not supposed to happen.
Yep. They're the only Major League Baseball team in the last 50 years to have the tying run on third with nobody out in the ninth inning or later in a game to lose the game in the space of two batters. Without putting the ball in play.
Wanting to blame Randy. I mean, I'd be more inclined to blame Arozarena. Julio said, "Don't do that."
It just kind of happens sometimes, Like we've seen it. I don't think that's for him to be blamed too. It's just kind of a weird situation that we all kind of find ourselves. So I don't think his fault. I think it's for me to learn from that, and keep moving forward.
All right, I'll learn from that. The next time somebody throws a bat at my head, I'll immediately react by running to the base. Thanks for the heads-up warning moment.
You just, what it was in the old fire drills back in the day, stop, drop, and roll or something like that. You just got to get down, and then you got to roll back to the base. I mean, I'm not blaming. I think the best way to put it is kind of what Julio did right there. I'm not blaming Julio, but ultimately you're responsible. Right? Like, it's one of those situations. Like, I'm not blaming you. We've probably gone through some of these things in our own marriages at times. Like, I'm not blaming you, but you're responsible for it. As unfortunate as that may be.
Well, yeah, all right. But the question was, do you blame Julio? Wasn't it? Do you blame Julio? I mean,
if I have to answer that, yes. I mean, if I have to answer in your poll, I think I'm with
some of the text messages, man.
Oh, very.
Salk, he's a professional. He acted like he was on a playground. By the way, that's something he generally gets praised for, but okay, fine.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Salk, if it was anyone but Julio, you'd be fired up, but you have a soft spot for him. Sorry, but Julio needs to be held accountable for his stupid play.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think I've been like Mr. Julio defender at all.
No.
I do like him, but I'm not
Mr. Randy defender. Yes. Mr. Julio, no.
No, I don't think I've been that. I just honestly have, I don't know, I have empathy for him in that moment. I don't think that's his fault. I really, truly don't.
No, I think many of the other two out, runners in scoring position over and over and over.
That's not why they lost that game.
Over. Yeah. They've lost these two games because they're 2 of 15 or 16 with runners in scoring position. You get on base. Yeah, you get, against a good team that just qualified for the play. You knew this. You knew the Yankees were going to be really tough. You were not going to sweep them.
You
had to find
it was going to be what they're pitching. Like, you thought it was okay, it's hard to go through that lineup.
Right.
That's fine. That's one thing. But
And by the way, how freaking good was Bryce Miller last night? He was so Texan tough.
Yes.
Like just so tough. Like, I got this game Saturday. I can't wait. It's like the two toughest teams in college football. Like Mike Gundy and Kyle Whittingham could get in a cage and they would fight to like rip each other's aorta out. And then their teams do. Like they're just tough. And you watch Bryce last night, he could have caved. He could have easily, like, I give up this hit, or, if I give up this shot, or, if I've walked a few guys, and I just don't have it, Mike. I just don't have it.
Even more than that, he could have just been out of it early.
Yes.
He could have gone through. I was expecting, like,
4 innings, right? He had an outing earlier this year, like 4 innings.
Yep, 4 1/3, 2 runs.
That's right.
And you'd be like, all right, didn't have
like,
it, but at least he kind of battled.
No way. Not with
6
playoffs on the line. Not with our lives on the line. Not with the urgency to compete. He went out there and was just
really
a freaking
impressive.
stud.
Really, really impressive. Unfortunately, everybody else around him, a whole lot less impressive between, again, issues and I'll tell you this. I was more upset, honestly, about Justin Turner not running out that ball to second base.
Yep.
That honestly upset me more. At this stage of the game, you can't take that chance.
Mm-hmm.
That honestly bummed me out more. Like, you've hit a ball, it's a fly ball, maybe it goes out, maybe it gets caught, maybe it gets missed. You're jogging down to first base. I don't love that. Julio has a bat hurtling in his head.
I think you and I made more noises this week than we have all year.
All right. Anyway, Salk watched the play again. He was checked out mentally.
Oh.
Yeah, I still see it that way. I'm really sorry. Really don't. My dad would have yelled at me the whole drive home if I did that in my Little League days. Then your dad's a jerk. I don't know what to tell you.
Your dad, the third base coach, would have picked you up by the belt. Come on, Manny. Pick him up and throw him back to third base.
Not allowed to do that.
Oh, that's true. That is
not allowed to do that.
That's right.
All right. Let's see. Shannon will join us coming up here in 20. Was that it? Was that the final indignity on this Mariners season?
10-0, Salk. I'm still saying there's a chance. 10-0.
We'll talk to Shannon in 20 after Need to Know next.
When you're running the hurry up and don't have time for your favorite Seattle sports shows, listen to the podcast on demand.
How about that? Unbelievable. Who would have thought?
Every hour, every interview, every look behind the scenes.
He is your new Seahawks head coach, Mike McDonald.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Find us on SeattleSports.com, the Seattle Sports app, or wherever you get podcasts.
All signs continue to point to it being the right hire.
Never miss a minute of Seattle sports, the home of the Seahawks.
Hey, have you been searching for a local, trustworthy group of professionals to assist you with your mortgage needs? Did you see the half-point rate cut yesterday? Or like, who can I reach out to? Well, you can count on my friends at Tila Mortgage. They have been the go-to mortgage experts in Washington State for over 25 years. And if you're 62 or older and you've heard me talk about these reverse mortgages, well, Tila can help you decide if that's the right choice for you. If monthly payments are impacting your credit score and just killing your cash flow, well, Tila can assist you in consolidating your debts with proven programs like a refinance loan, which again, with that rate cut may come in handy, or a home equity line of credit. Additionally, if you're purchasing that new home, Tila can guide you through the ins and outs of a new home loan as well. With hundreds of 5-star reviews, Tila, spelled Tila, is a trusted source for honest and ethical mortgage advice. Give them a call this morning at 206-766-8888 or TilaMortgage.com. That's 206-766-8888. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker, MLS 247-2046.
Is something bugging you? If you're dealing with a pest problem, get the relief you need and the long-term protection you deserve with Issaquah Pest Control. Look, rodents and bugs can ruin your insulation or the structure of your home or business. Before it becomes a more costly issue, call Issaquah Pest Control, the fast, kind, and professional pest control service. And if you're in the pest control business or have an interest, they're hiring, so join the team. Issaquah Pest Control, serving the entire Puget Sound. IssaquahPest.com.
Key here is employee satisfaction. There is no expectation for customer satisfaction if the people that work with us don't feel taken care of and supported and loved. I'm proud of the Lee Johnson Auto family. I'm proud of our stores. And I need everybody to share in that mindset, because it makes a better experience for the customer. It also makes it a better place to work. Walking away from an interaction with a customer that says, I can't believe how easy this was. I can't thank you enough for helping me. receiving a handwritten letter that's personalized to a salesperson or service advisor or a technician expressing gratitude, and then taking that home and sharing that with your family and hanging that on your refrigerator, that's the difference.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
After years of wear and tear, Joe had osteoarthritis in his wrists and shoulders.
I've pretty much worked out my whole life. I actually decided I'm going to train for a half Ironman triathlon.
The pain was interfering with every part of his life.
Basically, can't sleep, causing those kind of problems, very limited movement.
Joe had surgery, but it wasn't the fix he was looking for.
The doctor told me, he's like, hey, this is just going to be a partial fix. You're going to eventually need joint replacement.
That's when he decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
And they're just getting better. I can basically do full motion. I don't have really any pain.
What kinds of things are you able to do now that you weren't before?
I like to golf, and it definitely has made my golf game not as painful. And sleeping. I'm sleeping better because I don't have that aching at night going on and having to roll over.
So, are you recommending this to others?
Oh, everybody I talk to. Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
The Mike McDonald Show. The first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino.
Green Day present the Saviors Tour. Live in Seattle, T-Mobile Park, September 23rd. Performing both Dookie and American Idiot in their entirety, plus fan favorites and tracks from their new album, Saviors, with the Smashing Pumpkins, Rancid, and the Linda Lindas. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Green Day, the Saviors Tour, fueled by Monster Energy.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist you with any lighting issue, as well as help with intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting expert since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Hey, college students, want to save more on groceries? Every dollar counts, so my friends at Safeway are helping by giving all university, community, and technical college students an extra 5% savings every day. It's called Safeway for You. Sign up is free and easy. Safeway for You members get extra savings with perks, points, and free products. For all the details and terms, visit Safeway.com/FOR and the letter U. That's Safeway.com/for-you.
Don't miss Mariners Fan Appreciation Night, Friday, September 27th against the A's. After the game at 7:10, stick around for a special fireworks show presented by T-Mobile. Plus, you'll have the chance to win incredible prizes all night long, including Alaska Airlines flights, autographed jerseys, and more.
Into the corner, gone! Julio!
Go to mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets today. Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Yeah, there are losses, and then, Brock, there are losses. And that one last night was in the second category. Lots of credit to Bryce Miller before we get back to some of the horrors of what happened. Credit to Bryce Miller. Didn't have his good stuff. Didn't look like he was going to make it deep into that game. Instead, he goes 6 innings of 1-run ball. Dan Wilson appropriately impressed.
He continues to get better as he goes along this year. I think he's learned a lot, and he really found himself into a pretty good rhythm there in that middle part of the game, and it kind of really just catapulted him through that 6th inning, and he was on a roll, no doubt. And it seems like he had the secondary stuff working and the fastball. And really was able to hold that lineup in check.
Yeah, I think all of that is very true. Justin Turner ties the game up with a home run. You go to the 10th, you give up 1 run. Okay, fine, that's going to happen. And Julio starts.
And you get hit, and you get 1st and 3rd and nobody out.
Yeah.
1st and 3rd and nobody out.
So, look, at least you're going to get 1, right?
I mean, you get 1st and 3rd and nobody out.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss, and the bat goes flying out of his hands, and it almost hits Julio, who gets off the bag in foul territory. Wells throws to 3rd. The tag is made, and Julio is out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you can even hear it on that call, right? Goldie's even like, okay, strikeout. Oh, the bat gets thrown. And it's not like Wells fires it down like, oh gosh, Julio's off the bag. Julio, and now Wells finally. It just was so freaking odd. And this whole season has, largely been odd. That was a career high in pitches for Bryce Miller. We were just raving about his toughness and his will to finish. That was now Salk the 14th time. This is credit to Mariners PR that sent this out. Homeboy in Detroit that's unhittable, and Lugo in Kansas City have 15 outings this year of 6+ innings where they've given up 1 run or less. Logan Gilbert and Bryce Miller tied for second with 14. That was his 14th outing of 6+ innings and 1 run or less.
He's been pretty darn good.
That's a quality start.
And yet they lose as another another run is taken away on the bases. They can't hit. That was evident once again last night. But Astros lose, Twins lose, Royals even lose. Everybody at the Tigers ended up losing. So still not impossible, but it's pretty darn close.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Are you done reading the Seahawks injury report yet?
No, let me finish. How many active guys are there? 53. I think there were 48 on the injury
Pretty darn
list.
close. Ken Walker, Jerome Baker, Chenna Nwosu, Boye Mafe, Leonard Williams, DK Metcalf. That's some of the did not practices. The limited, actually the limited were better because George Fant and Farrell Brown at least got out there a little bit and were only limited. So that was good news. But, they're going to be a little beat up heading into this one, huh?
Yikes.
Playing a physical team like the Patriots will kind of do that, right? Isn't that part of it?
Yeah, and I think 3,000, not 3,500 miles, only 3,000 miles away on a hot day out there and everything else. And as hard as these guys play and as much as they love to run and hit and be young and active and all that stuff, yeah, this is going to be one of those Larry Hill's trade-offs. It's going to be one of those trade-offs is kind of nursing guys back to health. Today's a bigger day. Some of those guys, I think on a Wednesday, you do that, right? So you can have a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday. You give yourself 72+ hours to really heal. Today is a bigger day to see with DK and some of those others that hadn't been on the injury list, Salk, through all of OTAs, all of training camp, the first couple weeks. See if they can actually get out there and be limited or full participants. My eyes will be watching this afternoon.
100%. Mike McDonald talking yesterday about this Miami team, specifically its defense.
No, it's not a carbon copy. It's this is the Miami Dolphins defense, led by Anthony Weaver. I think they're doing a really great job. A lot of respect for those guys and the coaches on that staff, and then obviously they got some really good players too. So there's a lot of concepts that you see that are similar to what we do and things that we've installed here, but no, it's their defense.
Yeah, remind me, Salk, after the next Need to Know, to tell you about something totally inappropriate. I can do this one on the air that I've been thinking about with Mike McDonald.
You don't want to do it right now?
No, I want the music to stop, so let's do one more Need to Know.
All right, maybe let's get to the third one then.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
I'll go quick. Training camp starts today for the Kraken as they try to bounce back under new head coach Dan Bilesma. They had a busy offseason, right? A couple of big premium free agents. Chandler Stevenson, Brandon Montour. I am interested to see where they slot in terms of the line combos. Probably not going to get to see that for a little bit as they're dividing all of their folks into 3 groups and practicing sort of in shifts. So may not get to see that yet, but yeah, I'm kind of curious.
You more interested in that or Caitlin Clark's final regular season game in the WNBA before the playoffs Sunday?
I think that.
Me too.
Yeah.
They should get a win over the Mystics.
No. I'm more interested in the hockey.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. First day of training camp? Okay.
That's probably still more. I mean, as opposed to the last day of the regular season. I'm more interested in her playoffs, but I don't know about like last day of the regular season.
All right, so that's everything you need to know. So I went and got glasses.
Yes.
I went to the eye doctor a few weeks ago. And it took a special order to try to fit my face with these frames. I spent 3 hours with the lovely lady there trying to find something for my face and my forehead and everything else. It turns out, do you know, there's all sorts of medicines for everything out there, Salk, right? There's eyelash, for if you want to get longer, healthier eyelashes.
Sure.
Obviously, there's all these pills for like Ozempic and all this stuff going on. Do you know that there is this eye drop you can take that opens your eyes wider? Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. So, and of course, Molly's like, oh, that'd be fun to kind of try, Like, I think my dad's got droopy eyes and had surgery, like a lot of old people do to fix it.
Okay.
So she's like, why don't we just try this? And have you noticed how wide Mike McDonald's eyes are? Not Jorge Polanco wide, But have you noticed how he, oh yeah, like he's got really healthy, like look at you with like, so I tried this the other day. I can't do it, man. Can't do it.
Really? Because you can't put drops in your eyes?
No, I can, but then look at my eyebrows. Look at how pronounced my eyebrows already are. So guess what happens when that happens? It's like my eyebrows spock. Like it just is not, it's not tenable.
They spock?
Well, they go up like, like the guy in
Dr.
Star
Spock.
Trek. Yes, exactly.
Wow.
So it was, I'm just a mess, basically. I just tell you all that to tell you I'm a total mess. But it was kind of cool. It did pop your eye. Like it definitely did. Like if you want your
Is it
eyes
like
to.
smelling salts for your eyes?
I don't know what it is, but I guarantee you people on the text toy will be texting now like, oh, yeah, I've tried that. Oh, yeah,
I can't put drops in my eyes. I don't think I could do that. I
Are
can't.
there a lot of people that's a big issue for them? They need their eyes.
That they have sleepy-looking eyes?
Yeah, I think as you get older, Maura, I think, especially, in your 50s or whatever, which I'm getting near, things start to sag a little bit.
A lot of people saying this is the buff eye report from Brock.
Yeah, there you go.
Wait, you put it in your eyeball and it tightens above your eyes?
I don't know how it works, but
maybe
it does.
it like repels the lid so that it like the lid has to stay farther open.
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't know how it works, but it definitely opened my eyes up more, but it definitely did not look good. So I will definitely never, ever, ever do that again.
No, you should probably do it for the show one day.
I should just like triple drop it, right?
Definitely, whatever you do.
So then I can just look at you.
Don't give that stuff to Jorge Polanco, as you mentioned. I mean, his four eyelids would actually wrap back around over his head.
Does he ever blink? Does that guy ever
It's not
blink?
a blinker. No, he's more of a straight ahead guy. All right, is this
on that note,
is this it? We haven't talked to Shannon in a week or two, and I think we need to. It's time to check in. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what the mood is. Let's see where they're at. Let's see why we're there. Shannon Dreer next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
He is Mark Schlereth.
First off, I'm not apologizing for beating NFL teams. Like every team has a ton of talent on their rosters. New England's a physical team. They can run the ball. They'll beat you up. They play some bully ball. They're pretty stout. The Seahawks didn't run the ball for 2 inches against them. And Geno Smith, he was really good, right? They had some big plays. Like, that's a big physical football team. So don't apologize for beating the New England Patriots in overtime.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, we are getting close to the weekend. You're looking for a fun night out, only 30 minutes from downtown. Snoqualmie Casino is the perfect place to go. It's a perfect spot to watch some sports, everything that goes with that, and then enjoy a great happy hour menu as well. Like Falls Buffet, serving up your favorites, prime rib every day, fresh pasta, made-to-order stir-fry, noodles, pizza, salad bar, dessert bar. They make their pies every day, too. Yep, Vista has amazing happy hour menus that start at 4 o'clock with the incredible view of the Snoqualmie Valley and really, really great steak and seafood. It's only 30 minutes from downtown. You can find them at snocasino.com. It is Seattle's closest Snoqualmie casino.
Deftones. North American Tour 2025, live in Seattle. Climate Pledge Arena, February 27th. With special guests, the Mars Volta and Fleshwater. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. For more, visit Deftones.com.
If you haven't heard yet, Toyota's Camry called an audible with the brand new hybrid 2025 Camry. And at Toyota of Kirkland, they're excited to put it in play. Backed by the lifetime powertrain warranty, the incredible team at Toyota of Kirkland will set up your test drive so you can take home that 2025 hybrid Camry the same day. Come check it out at the amazing showroom at Toyota of Kirkland or visit online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments.
Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
By the time this radio ad ends, another vehicle will be stolen somewhere in the United States. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep yourself and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority. Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Listen throughout the week to the Mariners Player Spotlight.
Ever since I got here, I want to win a World Series in Seattle, and this city's starving for another winning team.
Presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Would you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Rick Riz here with Keith Dashafee, a local owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. With your help and the Improve Your Play program, Pella has chosen a local youth athletic program to receive a $5,000 grant. Keith, who's the lucky winner this week?
Rick, we could not be more excited to announce Lockburn Middle School Sports as one of 2 winners of this $5,000 grant.
Thanks to Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington for helping our local youth thrive.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Brock and Salk
weekdays 6 to 10.
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Man, some of the text messages. Salk, this is one of your dumbest takes I've heard in a while. I doubt it. I'm sure I've had dumber takes than this. No, about Julio.
Oh. Anything on my eye drops? Very little.
No.
Okay.
Very little.
People more concerned about Julio.
Very absurd. No, people want you to do it for photo day. Brock, do you really need your eyes to be wider? Certainly not wider space. That's for sure. What you really need, Brock, is magnetic eye drops to try and pull your eyes towards each other. So, yeah, I mean, there's a couple of texts in there. Then I got people thinking that I'm faking my opinion on Julio just to, be interested. Like, no. Yep. And then this one, which actually kind of got under my
Bayless, Salk.
Yeah, I don't do that. Salk's still defending service. This team's always been undisciplined and on the base paths during Scott's tenure. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. That's just flat not true. All right, Shannon Dreer will join us. Good morning, Shannon. How are you?
Oh, just great. How are you guys? What's wrong? Why does Brock need eye drops?
To make his eyes wider.
Well, no, Shannon, when I went to the eye doctor, and after 4 hours of them trying to fit a frame to my face, which was very difficult to do, I guess there's this eye drop you can take now that like opens your eyelids more for those that maybe have and I don't think mine are sagging yet, but as you get older, everything starts to sag a little bit. So yeah, they kind of pop your eyelids open. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Yeah.
You sure that's not just Botox?
100,000% it's not Botox.
Sounds like Botox to me.
No. Botox, no, that's different. That's for wrinkles. But no, this is for the old eyeball and eyelid. Anywho, Shannon, had you ever seen what happened last night in all your years of covering this beautiful baseball team?
Probably not. And what was absolutely crazy is before the game, we had Tim Kirchin on with us. ESPN Radio was doing the game, and he was down in San Diego the night before. So he just was going on and on about it, just in delight about Altuve taking his shoe and a sock off at the plate and showing his toe. Look, I got hit, and getting thrown out of the game. And what a delight baseball is, because you can always see something you've never seen before. And isn't this great? Isn't this wonderful? And right. I so wanted to run into him after the game last night, because I can only imagine what he was saying about that play. So yeah, not exactly like that. No.
Do you blame Julio?
Okay, so I know that you're not going to let me qualify that at all, which is not
fair. You can. First you have to answer, then you can qualify it.
Well, I can do whatever I want. You don't have to tell me. I know.
10 games to go. Shannon, unfiltered.
That's fair. That's fair point, Shannon. Yeah, that's pretty well said.
Early.
Don't put me in my place, Salt.
Would you be quiet and let Shannon make fun of me?
Don't put me in the corner,
Would you let Shannon make fun of me on her own? She doesn't need your help.
Can't put Shannon in the corner.
Lyle doesn't even know what that's referencing.
Oh, of course not. So I don't blame him for getting out of the way of the bat, and I do blame him for not getting back to the bag. If this was April, May, June, July, even August, my thoughts might be a little bit different on it, but the situation of the game, the situation of where the team is, to me, there wasn't hesitation. I mean, he was taking his time getting back, granted, because he thought time had been called. But I don't know that you can allow for that in that situation. And I can think of players that I think would have gotten right back to the bag. You keep your head in the play until the play is officially over. We see bats, and I know it's different because the ball is also put in play, but we see bats put in play in the field. We see fielders dodge them all of the time. We saw bats sticking out of the ground in front of the mound, which was one of the most terrifying things that I've seen a few days ago. And I just think in that situation, and, I'll go ahead and say Jazz Chisholm knew it, asked for the ball back. Austin Wells, who made 2 tremendous plays, heads up over the last 2 days, alerting the pitcher, hey, get the ball to me right now, and being ready for it when Robles was heading for home. And then last night, firing the ball down to third base. Now, there were other players on the field that were aware of it. So I do think
they're not the players that had a bat hurtling at their head, whatever.
I think you got to get it didn't hit you. And, I mean, it's easy for me to say, but I'm not, one of the top athletes in the world. And I'm not saying that you can't be nervous about that, but I'm saying that I think that you need to get back to the bag. That's got to be your number one focus in that situation, because the whole season is, in reality, is it? No, but that's not what they're thinking.
Can I hear him actually? I know you played a different cut. Yeah, give me cut 3.
I got it.
Because this, Shannon and I is always on the same team.
After I saw the bat, I thought it was going to be the dead play, and then they were going to pick up the bat, and I was going to go back to third. But whenever I saw that I got away, I turned my back of the field, and then I hear Manny yelling, get back to third. That's when I got back to third, honestly. At that moment, I wasn't really thinking about the game, just kind of getting away from the bat coming at me. And, that's what happened. That was the first for me for sure.
And to Shannon's point, we do see pitchers and third basemen and shortstops and base runners, and all those people have to dodge lumber and sometimes
in those
splintered
situations,
lumber.
The ball's in play. The ball's not in play here. Why doesn't the umpire call timeout?
It's not in play because it was in the catcher's mitt for strike 3.
Right. But that's also one of the kind of golden rules of the game is you keep playing until the whistle.
Yep.
Well, it's fair, except there's no whistle. I mean, like, there is no whistle.
But it's not a day. There's not timeout. Like, why would he think in that moment that there's a timeout? There's not a timeout. It's a strikeout. Like, the ball's in play. Why would he think in his mind that it is?
Well, I don't think he's thinking. I think he's just reacting to having a bat hurtling at his head, which again is why I'm not sitting here blaming him. If you want to blame him, then let's ask this question rather than continue to debate. You guys are right. Fine. Let's not debate it anymore. Let's say you guys are right. It's his fault. Why is this team making multiple base running mistakes over and over again here in the last few days? This is a team with a new manager and everything's supposed to be just fine. Why are they now making base running mistakes and mental errors that they didn't used to make? This now gets uncomfortable because now we have to criticize the world's I'm not talking to you, Shannon. I'm talking to the people out there who just voted 70-30 to say I'm insane. Okay, then tell me why the world's most beloved Mariner, Dan Wilson, has his team not prepared to play baseball the way Scott Service used to. Like, I don't think you can have this one both ways. Those things reflect on the manager. Said it for years.
Well, what if, unfortunately, as we talk about all the time, there is a role for the manager, there's not a role for the manager. Right?
When teams make mental mistakes and you make two in a row, that reflects.
Manager.
You make two in a row, 2 different nights, that's going to reflect on the manager.
Miss Shannon, hello.
So now I can talk? Now it's okay?
Hello.
Sorry, Shannon.
Has time been called?
Yes. Time out.
Dead ball, Shannon, go ahead. Whistle blew.
I think individuals still make mistakes. I think manager can do as much as they can do, but I do think there is a bigger conversation to be had. And again, this is kind of like what I say about the end of the year. When everything has to be on the table, that doesn't mean everything has to go and everything is wrong. Nothing might be wrong. Nothing might go, but everything has to be examined. But the team does play loose. Is it out of the question to say it's too loose at times? Is it out of the question to say that, you say that Scott Service wanted guys to be themselves out on the field, and that's great. And that is something that made this team more attractive to outsiders than most people know, or people coming from the outside, let's put it that way. But there has to be a balance. It doesn't mean that it's always perfect. It doesn't mean that there can't be a tweak here or there.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I can ask you this, and I don't know how much of it came into play, but I do think it's probably a question that needs to be asked. A player can be out there and can be playing free and can be playing, with a passion for the game and can playing loose and having fun. But is there a time when maybe there's a little too much fun?
Mm-hmm.
And is there a time when maybe you do have to kind of, not just in this game or that game, but maybe have to turn it up a little bit more and be a little bit more aware of it's not just fun in games. We have to win ball games out here.
Yeah, I think, Shannon, as you're saying that, I'm reflecting upon the Josh Rojas's that come to the organization, right? And Dom Canzones and the number of guys through the years that have said, man.
Victor Robles.
Yes. Yeah.
Signed because of that.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
and
this
he's
place is
given
fun.
you so much more good
Yep.
than, the mistake that you saw yesterday. But there has to be a balance, and there comes a time if a player is going to play like that in any sport, or a team is going to play like that in any sport, it might have to be reeled in a little bit.
Yeah, I think I zero in on attention to detail. Different people, different players, different teams, different leaders that I have been around, guys that are fun-loving, guys that just enjoy playing. And, man, it's awesome to have all sorts of those different personalities. But when you step between the lines on a football field or on a baseball field, there has to be an attention to detail. And then, as you said, Shannon, this isn't April or May or June. This is 11 games to go, back against the wall, a sense of urgency that's got to be through the roof. And this isn't just Julio, it's Robles the night before, it's Justin Turner on a fly ball, where your attention to detail, there's no more dog days of August, right? I mean, this is it. This is now, how many more home games? 3 more home games? Like, this is it. This is your final stretch, and to not have some of that attention to detail when you need it the most, that to me is pretty frustrating.
And here's the hard thing. It is a balance. You can't just tell them to be yourself forever and then, quit it. There is a balance. And if you take any of that away or you try to, what does that do? That's why it can't, I'm not saying it's one thing or another. I'm saying it's something that needs to be looked at, and I'm sure any incoming manager would look at that. It might be a case of we got to tighten it up a little bit, guys. This is great, and I get it, but we might have to tighten this up a little bit. Or it might be freak things happen, and that absolutely was a freak thing that happened last night. I don't know. I'm telling, I'm saying what I think it should be, but it's funny because guys get after, this guy should have been benched for this, or they should have, that. And I'm like, there's so much out there that I kind of laugh and say, well, that's movie baseball.
Right.
And am I veering into that? Maybe. I don't know. That's why I can't say it definitively right now. I think it's something that needs to be thought about and looked at, but it's ultimately a balance. And which are you going to get more good at?
Texter here has the exact opposite view. I'll read it to you. It's from the 425. Says, where's Dan Wilson in this whole scenario? Why isn't he running out and getting a ruling from the umpire if for no other reason than to clear the air? How many times did I hear, Scott Service doesn't have his players back enough? Why aren't you running out in that moment and saying, hey, why isn't this a dead ball? Call it dead. There's a strikeout and there's a bat hurtling at my player. You're calling him out? Even if you don't end up winning the argument, which you're probably not going to, it is surprising not to see somebody running out onto the field to at least get an explanation in that moment.
Yeah, that could be a number of things. It could be, they were stunned that the play happened. It could be that maybe everybody automatically was thinking that he should have gotten back. It might have been, kind of black and white in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
And then along those lines, I do think you have to give Dan Wilson a little bit of grace in that he's only managed how many games right now?
Well, I do, except that I don't think he should be in that position at all, and have never thought that. So I'm not blaming Dan, but if you're saying, hey, the best way to get to the playoffs down the stretch is to hire somebody who's never done this at the major league level, I can't then give him, not you personally, Shannon, I'm not holding you responsible for this, but if a person's going to say that, I can't then give grace and say, he's new to the job. You hired somebody who's new to the job in the moment where you're trying to get yourself into the postseason. Those are going to be tough for me. Those are going to be real tough for me to handle here because I disagree with the decision then. I disagree with the decision now. Yes, I'm picking and choosing in order to make my point.
Yes, you are.
And I absolutely am. Just like everybody picks and chooses on a good day to say Edgar and Dan are geniuses and on a bad day to ignore what they're doing. That's not fair. And I think it does. Well, anyway, Shannon, you're right. I'm wrong. Let's move on. You're the best. Thank you.
Are we done?
I think so.
Yeah, that's it. We got to do Blue.
Shannon, seriously, you are the best, and you, more than anybody.
Was that for this segment or for the season? What was that?
Shannon, jokes aside.
Eye drops more.
Jokes aside, nobody does a better job of convincing me of anything than Shannon, and your points on Julio were excellent. Seriously, as always. Love you.
Okay, you got it.
There's Shannon Dreer. All right. Yeah.
Can I just call the spade a spade before we get to Blue 88?
Oh, we're allowed to do that now?
Yeah, I'm just going to call a spade.
I didn't think we were allowed to do that.
Do you know the reality of 150-something games?
Do you want to calm down?
Me?
Yes, you're a little wired. The reality.
This gets to the root of things that I've been mad about here for weeks.
Yes.
I'm pissed off. I really am.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not going to calm down. I'm actually pretty mad. I'm mad about the way this whole thing has gone down. I've been mad about it for weeks.
And
I don't blame Dan Wilson for it. It's not his fault, but I think that it was a ridiculous decision when it was made, and it's continuing to play itself out as ridiculous. And the fact that occasionally the Mariners have a good game where they hit better doesn't justify what happened. I just don't like it. I don't like it then. I don't like it now. And I do think it's unfair to sit here. Okay, if you want to blame Julio, then that's 2 days in a row. And if you're going to blame Julio and it's 2 days in a row, then the blame goes to the man. Oh, but I can't blame the manager because I love him. Well, it doesn't get to work that way. You don't get to just say, oh, well, but I like him, so it's fine. This is the problem with hiring guys that are beloved by the fan base. This is the problem with it. I love Dan Wilson myself. This isn't an anti-Dan thing. But when you hire Dan and Edgar and people that are beloved by a fan base, it gets real hard for the fan base to be objective.
Right.
That's my take on it. And when you give them not only an interim title, but a long-term title, you're committing to them beyond this season. And it's baffles my mind.
Yeah. To your point, Salk, the Mariners have 4 wins against teams over 500 since Dan Wilson took over.
But that's not what I've been told. I've been told everything's hunky-dory now.
But that was going to be my spade. Lyle, you just shared my spade. And it was not only that. Tell me how many games over 500 Scott was or against in wins versus teams over 5. Like, this is 150 games. And the bottom line is when he played good teams, whether it's Mike Salk managing, Dan Wilson managing, Joe Torre managing, Scott Service managing, with this group, when you play better teams above 500, tell me what the record is. Because that's the bottom line. And a marathon of a season exposes that in the end.
Then firing your manager and giving the next manager a contract beyond this year does not make any sense. If at the end of this year you end up finishing close to 500, maybe under it, we'll see how these last 10 games go, you've put yourself in a terrible position.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I didn't like it. I still don't like it. Let's change the subject.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Heward breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
I will shift gears,
Lyle.
thankfully.
Hey, Lyle, you know what we call that? Steam. You just got to let some of the steam out. You've been sitting on that. You know, it's not Mount St. Helens.
No.
But it's just a little like Maui. You like the islands over there, right, Salky? You know, it's just some of those volcanoes over there. You just got to let out some steam that you've been sitting on. And then Maura's like, can we move on, please? Because you guys are both a little fiery. So
Kind of sounded like you were yelling at Shannon and Brock.
And I don't mean to yell, Shannon. I love Shannon. I was trying to make that clear at the end.
Yes.
Shannon just brings me to that point of like, okay, we can't do this. It's just it's wrong.
Okay, so let's go to Philadelphia and let's.
I'm sure that's the best place to go for reason and rationality.
Yes. Let me hear Nick Sirianni asked about all these Georgia Bulldogs, Salky, that are underperforming.
All 3 guys have showed moments of having a lot of good plays, and all of them have had bumps too. But that's every player, right? That's not just limited to those guys. Like, you know, we're 1-1 at this particular point, so there's going to be good plays, there's going to be bad plays, but a lot of confidence in those guys and their abilities why we drafted them in the first place and what they can add to our defense. But we got to be better as a whole, better coaching, better playing on offense, better playing on defense.
Yeah, this does circle back to Julio, because when you get a 10-year deal, Salk, and you're a superstar and have shown that, guess what? That's the bar you're held to. That's now the new expectation. You're not a 5th rounder. You're not an undrafted guy.
And that's a good argument.
You know what? Guess what? Nolan Smith. Guess what? Jalen Carter. Guess what? Big boy in the middle. Like, you 3 were all drafted in the 1st round. And we know your talents, and we have seen you perform. So now you got to go live up to that. And if you don't do it in Philly, guess what happens in Philly? They start throwing things at you. And, as you think about Jalen Carter, and you have said this, Salk, and he's going to be compared to Spoon and da-da-da-da-da-da. And I forget who it was the other day that made the great point that when you have a 185-pound guy playing like a 300-pound madman like Devin Witherspoon does, everybody follows. When you got a 300-pounder that doesn't play to that level, it brings everybody down. And Jalen Carter this year, no sacks, no tackles for loss, very few splash and impact plays. That's one right now that's going to teeter-totter and go back and forth. And Jalen Carter could have a 3-sack day and take over games and have those stretches. But that's one right now that I think you'd have to side with, yep, Spoon was absolutely the better fit for here.
All right, question number 2. Of all the impressive stats and stories first couple weeks here for the Seahawks, Reek Woolen, we probably haven't talked nearly enough about him.
Nope.
How good has he been?
Yeah, really good. And your guy, Hawk Blogger, does a great job because he digs into all the PFF numbers and loves all that next-level stuff. So much talk about the Seahawks cornerbacks in coverage, right? So we've highlighted that he and Spoon are the best cover guys in the league. How about this one? And this is right from Brian's tweet. What would you say if I told you they've got the two top 10 corners in run defense? And what if I told you one of them was Tariq Woolen? Number 1, not a surprise, Devin Witherspoon is the best run defending corner in the game. Does that matter? Yeah, it matters, especially when you're 185 pounds and you light a fire around everybody else. Number 10, Reek Woolen. If Reek Woolen ends this year, Salt, number 10 in run defense, they're going to be the best corner tandem in the league, period, bar none. That was a question last year. He ate the big meal. He did not bring it physically. Through 2 games, he's putting his face right in the fan.
All right, question number 3. We played that sound earlier of Mike McDonald talking about his familiarity with this defense, right?
Yeah.
Anthony Weaver, who's their D coordinator, was with Mike McDonald. Will that factor into this matchup?
I think it does. I think it helps Geno Smith. As he said, it's not a carbon copy. You're not running the exact same thing out there, but the base principles, that illusion of complexity, right, that poor Rocco didn't answer correctly yesterday, and I know I'm going to get ripped, and here's the thing, coming up in a few minutes with that, with my love for children or not, for Geno, it's going to help. I mean, this is a framework. This is what we do. Now both sides are going to probably have to mix, much like it's going to help, Skylar Thompson on the other side, that he knows some of the base principles within this scheme. So, yeah, I think it'll be incumbent on both Weaver and on McDonald to mix and match a little bit. I probably feel more confident that Mike can do that than a first-time coordinator down there in Miami doing so.
All right, there we go. That is today's Blue 88.
Yeah, we got a full loaded Here's the Thing, and we're going to get to it, okay? We're going to get to it. Don't we do that next?
Yeah.
Doggone it. Why am I driving the plane?
No, we're going to have to.
Because you're fired up.
I think this show needs the 8 o'clock hour between Here's the Thing and G after that.
Oh, yeah, we got G as well.
Do we? Is that what we need?
I think so.
G can get under his skin, too.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Thing is, I started off today in a great mood. Really, really, really happy.
Your daughter played great again in volleyball.
She did.
Last
It was
night.
fun.
You got on a really idyllic campus over there on the east side for the first time.
It's the hypocrisy that gets me.
Yes, I know.
It's just hypocrisy that gets me.
Yep.
It's the hypocrisy that gets me.
It's in all of life. It always gets
It
me.
really does. I really do struggle with hypocrisy.
Yep.
And I'm not
Which is
saying that
why
I'm
you
not
love
occasionally
politics so
guilty of it. I totally get it. We all do it. But the hypocrisy is what gets me. And I really feel like there's a lot of hypocrisy in some of the arguments that I've heard recently. Okay. And that is not directed at Shannon. Let me be perfectly clear.
Nope.
At all.
Nor
I
at
love
me.
Shannon.
Nor at me.
Well, it might be you. No, it's not at anybody. It's none of you guys. I love you guys.
Yeah.
And I do love Shannon. 100%. But the hypocrisy,
Yeah.
it gets me. It really does. It's Brock and Salk. We'll be right back. Sale Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
If you were the Seahawks, who's a player you would use more, and how would you do it?
Come on, man. I've been saying this name for 2-3 years now.
D. Eskridge.
No, 2 years. D's
Just
gone.
kidding. I know D's gone.
D's gone.
D's gone. Okay. Oh, can I take one more guess?
Yeah, go for it.
Kobe Bryant?
No, you get
Okay.
one more.
Okay. You've been Kenny McIntosh.
Kenny McIntosh. Yes. Get this young man out there. Line him up in the slot. Have him run some swings, some outs, because he needs the football in his hands. The longer you get into the season, the more weapons you're going to want to use.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Choose the right flooring for your home, right in your home, with Floor Coverings International. They bring the mobile showroom to you, loaded with samples of carpet, LVP, hardwood, laminate, tile, and more, so you can see the flooring in your light, not just in a store or on a screen. They handle every aspect of installation, ensuring your complete satisfaction. Visit FCIFloors.com and book a free in-home consultation. Floor Coverings International, the stars of flooring.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien. The best defense is a good offense. So before the sewer backs up into your home and wreaks havoc, stop freaking and call Beacon. Beacon Plumbing, Heating, and Mechanical is there for you when you need them most. 1-800-FREAKIN or beaconplumbing.net.
Are you constantly dealing with a runny nose, congestion, or sinus drip? Always having to clear your throat or coughing? Hey, it's Dr. Ryan Stern of the Stern Sinus Center. Ryan-Air is a simple, non-invasive procedure that significantly reduces your postnasal drip and stuffiness. A recent clinical study shows almost 9 out of 10 Ryan-Air patients get significant improvement in their breathing and runny nose. We're proud this year the Stern Sinus Center was just named a nationwide center of excellence. Schedule your appointment in Auburn or Federal Way or go to sternsinus.com.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted it close to town, with a picture window overlooking a yard. And you found it. Now, when you sit down to dinner, you've got front row seats too. your neighbor's daily pickleball game. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Hey you, I knew I'd find you back in the same aisle. What are you looking for today? More fiber, more laxatives, more of the same ways to manage your constipation? Look, if your constipation with belly pain keeps coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. Ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Guys, this month only, Revive Men Cell Seattle offers qualified patients a free supply of ED medication to kickstart their treatment and enhance intimacy. Book your free T-check, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMenCell.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour is brought to you by Amazon Hub Delivery.
Give me a freaking auto! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
Brought to you by Simply Seattle.
We're going to cue you on the interview.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Hello! I hate this bit. I hate that we have to draw these stupid logos of these NFL teams. I can't draw. I'm going to be the butt of the joke again. It's terrible. It's just awful, Justin. How dare you?
I just sent you my helmet.
I know. Yours is amazing.
No, it is
Yours looks like it was done by Claude Monet compared to what I did.
Brock's helmet is a little weird. It doesn't look like a full helmet.
What is mine? Mine looks like an eggplant. It's awful. I can't draw the Miami Dolphins logo from memory. I can't draw anything. I can't draw a freaking stick figure. Anyway, all right. It's Thursday. It's 8 o'clock, which means we've got a ton of your messages, which you've left from Here's the Thing. I can't imagine the last couple of hours, the last hour will lead to any more. But let's see. What do we have this week?
So we're going to get well acquainted.
I just want the Mariners to win every game. I don't believe that's too much to ask for.
It's time for Brock and Salk's Here's the Thing.
Okay, here's the thing.
We're going to have to hurry. All right, let's see.
Here's the
Jason.
Thing. You ever hear that old baseball joke about why a bad baseball player is like a blanket because they can warm the bench? Well, I've been thinking, watching them lately, that the Seattle Mariners should take over that joke. For instance, How was Mitch Garver like a blanket? They both can warm the bench.
And he went full Nicky Scarlatta with that.
He might be angrier than you.
I was really enjoying watching Garver and Haniger continue to hit late into the game last night.
That was great.
Once the righties came into it.
It was great.
Why were they both still hitting?
Double Mitchwich.
Why? I just didn't. That one was really tough for me. Didn't get that. Here's Anthony.
Here's the thing. Shannon Dreer's got it. She's right on point. Phenomenal. Thank you, ma'am.
I mean, that's always true.
That was left before today, so
I
that's
know.
just random. Yeah.
Just a random one. But it's evergreen.
It plays.
Yeah.
Always plays. Oh, here's Brad. What does Brad have to say about? Brad's been, he's sort of the star of this thing.
Here's the thing. Listen, I don't appreciate being called out by some other no-name listener. First-time caller. Who is this guy? Who does he think he is? Calling me weird for calling every week. If you knew how much I actually called Mr. No Name, you'd think it was more than just a little weird. Shoot. I'm making things worse for myself. Love you guys. Bye.
Love Brad.
He does leave a lot of messages.
I know.
I only pick one.
I'm kind of into it, though.
I really love it.
All right, do you want to hear a 1-minute impression of me taking phone calls? This is from Levi. Yeah, we'll see. I'll cut it off if it gets lame. Here we go.
Here's the thing. One of the things I love most about Brock and Salk is when Mike always goes, all right, we're going to do calls in here on the show. And I love doing calls, love hearing from you guys. It's always amazing. If I don't have to work for an hour, well, my goodness, I don't have to work for an hour. I'd love to do that. You know what I mean? And then you get a call in and the guy's like, hey, I was just wondering why do you think the offense doesn't look as good as it used to in last night's game? Big fan, first-time caller. I'll take your comments off the air. And then Mike's like, I appreciate you guys calling in. I mean, you're an idiot and you're a moron and you don't even understand football in any way, shape, or form. But thanks for calling in. I always appreciate you guys calling in. And
I was just wondering why the WRC Plus for Julio wasn't what it used to be.
Shut up, kid. You don't know what you're talking about. You're mindless. You're a moron. Thanks for calling in, though. Really appreciate you guys. It's just beautiful. It's just classic. Love the show, guys. I'll probably call in next week.
Thank you, Levi. That's pretty good.
Wow.
Is that what I sound like, Brock?
Very accurate.
It sounded more like Softy, I think, but that's okay.
I got a headache. Good headache.
Let's see. Here's Simon.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Simon from Olympia. Here's the thing. I don't want to be petty, and I don't want to be, a homer. But as a diehard Husky fan, watching Bo Nix, or as I should say, Mo Picks, throwing the ball to the wrong team makes me feel pretty good. Huskies lost, but we got the Seahawks. They win again. Defense didn't do great, but they did good enough. Let's go, Hawks. Bo Nix. More like Mo Picks.
This is the best.
I think so. I think there's a little fart noise at the end of that.
This is the best batch yet.
Mo Picks.
That guy's really good, Bo Nix. Like he's gonna be good. He's gonna be an all-timer.
I'm gonna text her. I'm gonna text Zach by right
No, don't leave poor Zach alone. The poor guy already has to watch Bo Nix.
Here's the thing, Salk. Your Justin Jefferson take is aging like spoiled milk. Justin Jefferson has Sam Darnold looking like Patrick freaking Mahomes. Get out of here with this. Daniel Hunter's more valuable than Justin Jefferson.
It's Daniil. Daniel Hunter, maybe not, but Daniil Hunter? I mean, he did pretty good things in Houston the last year or so. We'll see. I think my take is still spot on. Maybe it's exaggerated, but it's still spot on. Here's Jared.
Here's the thing. Brock, James Addiction is a much better band name than Voice of Poise.
No.
Do yourself a favor and stay away from the music takes, bro.
No.
I kind of agree with that.
Jane's Addiction, it's horrible.
Why?
You saw what happened at the end. Did you see the note they had to release?
Yes, but why is that about them being a bad name?
It's a great band. Guitarist is amazing. What's his name? Dave
Navarro.
Amazing. Rip, too.
Yeah.
That guy's on some testosterone.
He was in the Chili
growth
Peppers
hormone.
for a little while.
Yeah, he is a rip dude.
Yeah.
Voice of Poise is an amazing band.
Not really.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as good as you think it is. I mean, maybe in the sort of Christian music world.
Or like the 80s.
The 80s, like with REO Speedwagon.
Yeah, with REO Speedwagon. Yes.
Duran.
We had Brad. Here's Brent.
Here's the thing. Maura, I need your help. Whatever ritual or sacrifice you make to the fantasy football gods that gives you success, I need you to do it for me because season is starting off rough for your old pal Brentley. In return, I've made you a little jingle to your intro music for your fantasy football segment, so here it goes.
Fantasy football forecast with Maura Dooley. Presented by Pringles.
The music part was aggressive. I don't mind fantasy football forecast, though.
Well, it's coming up today at 9:45. If you want to use Brent's jingle, you're more than welcome to include that in the open.
Triple F?
It's pretty good.
Fantasy football.
All right, let's see. I got two more. See if I can get to them real quick. This was Carter.
So here's the thing. Brock Heward doesn't just hate one kid. He doesn't hate two kids. He hates all of the kids. Just about as much as I hate how he can never just say something one time. He can never say something two times. He has to say... And you know what? He'll interrupt himself before he gets to the third time.
That's good.
That's great.
That's perfect. That's dead on
You know what?
accurate.
He'll
Carter.
interrupt himself before.
100% true. So that's good. Should we finish off with Adam? A quick one. Here's Adam to finish off this batch.
Here's the thing. I've wanted to call in the past, but I've just been battling through this headache.
Oh, Lyle.
Wow. Shots at everybody.
Man.
You know,
I love it.
As soon as I said it that day, I realized I made a mistake. I shouldn't have even tried to tell people what was going on.
Yep.
It was a surprising move on your part. Well, there you go. That's the batch of Here's the Thing. Tremendous.
Did it put you back in a good mood?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's the best I think we've ever had. That was awesome. Really, really good. I love that. That was great. So all you got to do is download the app and you can participate in this. You can create your own Here's the Thing voice message, leave it for us, and then Thursdays at 8 o'clock, we will play. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Who was the best one there?
Picks.
Mo Picks.
Was it the Mo Picks one?
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of liked my fantasy jingle.
I kind of liked Brad this week. Brad makes me laugh every time. I'm kind of a fan.
Wait, the Salk doing phone calls was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
That was good, too.
Levi taking shots at me.
All good.
Well, we'll do that tomorrow. We'll take some phone calls tomorrow at 9:30. We'll see if it goes any better than you alluded to. G. Scott's going to join us in 20 minutes. Daniel Jeremiah tomorrow at 8:30 as we had to move some things around this week to accommodate everybody's schedule. We'll come back with everything you need to know next. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
If you were the Seahawks, who's a player you would use more, and how would you do it?
Come on, man. I've been saying this name for 2-3 years now.
D. Eskridge.
No, 2 years. D's
Just
gone.
kidding. I know D's gone.
D's gone.
D's gone. Okay. Oh, can I take one more guess?
Yeah, go for it.
Kobe Bryant?
No, you get one more.
Okay. You've been Kenny McIntosh.
Kenny McIntosh. Yes. Get this young man out there. Line him up in the slot. Have him run some swings, some outs, because he needs the football in his hands. The longer you get into the season, the more weapons you're going to want to use.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I grew up in a very angry time.
A night of comedy at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center.
You were afraid of your dad.
Friday, October 4th. Hold on tight. It's Bill Burr.
Like, I love seeing kids nowadays loving their dad.
Tickets at emeraldqueen.com.
When I was a kid, I was like, Dad, run! Run!
Don't miss Bill Burr, October 4th at the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
The seasons are changing, and if you're thinking it's time to change what you drive, the incredible team at Toyota of Kirkland will get you charged up with the BZ4X. Toyota's all-electric crossover SUV features an estimated range up to 252 miles, getting you where you need to go. Test drive the BZ4X at the electrifying showroom at Toyota of Kirkland and take it home the same day. Visit in person today at Toyota of Kirkland or online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
ZZ
Tom. Leonard Skinnard. Two American institutions unite. The Sharp-Dressed Simple Man Tour. This Saturday, White River Amphitheater. Special guest, The Outlaws. On sale now at LiveNation.com. CC Top and Leonard Skinnard live.
As fall and winter weather sets in, your lawn becomes a muddy mess, and your kids and pets bring the mud inside. But with Synthetic Turf Northwest, you can have a lush, green yard year-round. No mud, no mess. Their premium synthetic turf systems drain fast and stay clean, no matter how hard it rains. Right now, during the Fall Blitz, you can save up to $1,500 on a new synthetic lawn. So say goodbye to muddy paws and say hello to your dream lawn. Call Synthetic Turf Northwest today or visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com to get started.
There's an old saying that a house is not a home, but the Mariners house, T-Mobile Park, is home to an awful lot. Home to plays you can't believe.
Right shot, diving catch. Holy smokes, what a play by Crawford.
Home to 6-foot salmon that don't swim, they sprint. And even home to hot dogs that fall from heaven. Hallelujah.
Everybody likes free food just falling from the sky.
Oh, yeah. And it's also home to 47,000 screaming faithful night after night.
We have a sellout crowd. I mean, the folks are up there in the rafters.
T-Mobile Park is our house. Mariners fans make it our home. Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
Be here for the home stretch at T-Mobile Park. The Mariners are wrapping up their series against the Yankees tomorrow afternoon at 1:10. Then catch the final matchup of the regular season versus the A's September 27th to 29th, including fan appreciation fireworks night presented by T-Mobile on Friday the 27th. Get your tickets today at mariners.com.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Prostate cancer is the second most common cancer in males. When detected early, it can be curable. Swedish CyberKnife offers a non-invasive and highly precise treatment for prostate cancer, typically requiring only 5 treatments. CyberKnife patients experience minimal side effects and can continue normal activities during treatment. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Looking for fine jewelry this fall? Good news! Seattle's favorite jeweler for more than 40 years now has 2 locations in the area. Come visit us in our beautiful new store with the biggest selection at South Center Square in Tukwila. Create your own engagement ring with the widest range of diamonds and gemstones and discover unique, fine jewelry designed by our in-house team. No matter your budget, our friendly team is here to help guide you in finding that perfect piece that speaks to you. Visit ShaneCo.com to find your closest store and hours. We can't wait to see you. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Is something bugging you? If you're dealing with a pest problem, get the relief you need and the long-term protection you deserve with Issaquah Pest Control. Look, rodents and bugs can ruin your insulation or the structure of your home or business. Before it becomes a more costly issue, call Issaquah Pest Control, the fast, kind, and professional pest control service. And if you're in the pest control business or have an interest, they're hiring, so join the team. Issaquah Pest Control, serving the entire Puget Sound. IssaquahPest.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
All right, I'm done debating whether or not Julio was at fault for what happened in the 10th inning. Let's talk about the rest of the game last night, because it was not pretty. Credit to Bryce Miller, Brock. He battled back. He didn't have his good stuff early. Could have very easily gone 4 or 5 innings in that game. Instead, somehow he makes it through 6 innings of 1-run ball against one of the best couple lineups in baseball. That was pretty darn impressive, and I think that's he's come a long way in a very short amount of time. Unfortunately, the bats looked exactly like they have way too many nights this year.
Yeah, that was career high in pitches thrown. Right, I was kind of curious to see, could he get out there for the 6th? Could he get through the 6th when he hit the 105 marker? Would he be pulled? And nope, he got to finish that out, and that was now his 14th. I mean, some of these numbers are going to be just so jaw-dropping, staggering at the end of the year. If and when they don't make the playoffs, Hulk, and now it's really, really long odds. 5 back in the division, 10 games to go. I mean, it's just going to be...
It's nearly impossible.
Nearly impossible. If you're going to look back at these numbers, like Bryce, that was his 14th outing, tied with Logan Gilbert for second in baseball. 14th outing of 6+ innings and 1 run or less. And I don't even want to know the record of the team when Logan and Bryce have done that this season in those nearly 30 games.
I know.
Because it's going to make me even more sick.
It probably would. Yeah. Here's Dan Wilson on their current situation.
Well, I mean, just again, we talked a lot about in the last couple of weeks how resilient this team is, and we've come back for some tough losses, and we're gonna have to do it again. Tomorrow would come back here, day game tomorrow, and we're gonna have to get after it again. And I know these guys will. They've got a lot of fight in them. They showed it again tonight, and we'll get after it.
You know who else does that?
Here's the second thing you need to know.
You know who else is really resilient and got a lot of fight in them? Most of baseball. Like the Washington Nationals. Like they continue to fight. The Oakland A's. Like they continue to fight and play. I don't know, man. I've heard that a lot. And I just wonder, like, well, these are pros. How many teams have just, like, other than the White Sox, and I think that is a talent. Like,
did you see the White Sox Twitter last night? They scored more runs than us.
Anywho.
All right. Well,
a long injury report.
Brock, we don't have time to talk about the Mariners. We have only 2 hours left to try to read through the entire Seahawks injury report, and it is lengthy. It's like reading War and Peace over here. Ken Walker, Jerome Baker, Chenna Nwosu, Boye Mafe, Kevon Wallace, Leonard Williams, DK Metcalf, all not practicing. There are others. Those are just some of the biggest names. Boye Mafe was a partial participant. That's scary. Same with Leonard Williams. Same with DK Metcalf. So, there's a long list of people who I think you're right. You got to see what happens today.
Yeah.
But that's more names than you'd like to see on the list.
Well, and it's a bunch of names that, finished the game on Sunday that we had not heard of. Right, it's a bunch of names of guys that have been through all of the OTAs and all of minicamp and all of training camp, and I don't think even missed a practice in Boye and DK and some of these guys' circumstances. So, yeah, today going to be kind of a big day. My hunch is after a long road trip on a hot day where you expended a lot of energy, those guys that did have some bumps and bruises and weren't 100%, let's give them a Wednesday. Let's give them another 24 hours. Today is a pretty big marker.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Well, later today, training camp will get underway for the Kraken as they'll try to bounce back under their new head coach, Dan Bilesma, from a disappointing season last year. They were busy this offseason. Dipped twice into the premium free agent pool, bringing in Chandler Stevenson, defenseman Brandon Montour. Don't know exactly where they'll slot in and who they'll, line mates will be or defensive pairings will be. But I don't know that we'll get to find that out right away. They're sort of dividing everything into 3 groups for these practices, so I don't know that we'll get a chance to sort of learn.
Does Cecily get to skate with them up there in North Cape?
I don't think so, though she does have practice today.
Same facility?
Yeah. I mean, they have 3 rinks up there.
That's what the Avs do, too, right? They practice at a public facility.
That's become fairly normal around the league. Common. A lot more common, anyway. Mm-hmm. As teams have kind of built it and then tried to use it to generate more interest in the sport. And the Kraken do as good a job of that as anybody. It's beautiful, that Kraken Iceplex with the 3 rinks there. But, yeah, I'm curious to see how Bilesma works and how he changes things up. I don't think that the team has been particularly well coached the last few years. And so, looking forward to seeing something new. Storm lost their final home game, Brock. They finished the regular season tonight. And as of now, they would be the 5th seed and play the Las Vegas Aces. Yeah.
Going to be them, and Indiana's going to be the 6th seed. Final regular season game for Caitlin tonight, who's just, again, numbers have just been extraordinary this year.
Pretty amazing.
And all those, like Geno Oriyama, who I love, are like, oh, they're just going to have a rough year. And, oh, she had a rough, like, Yeah, she's going to be up there in the MVP conversation. She's not going to win it, but she's going to be in that conversation. It's been unbelievable.
Pretty incredible. All right, that's everything you need to know. Quarter past every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. I'll probably end up talking more about this with G when he comes in a minute. Did you see, and then I have this kind of down for later today. But
you will or we will?
Well, we will, but then I was going to bring this up later. I have sort of a segment plan for it. But did you see the Hall of Fame candidacies?
I did.
Or candidates announced?
I did, the first-timers.
So the first-timers, I'm not going to read all of them, but here are the I don't know, 5 or 6 most interesting. Marshawn and Earl Thomas are the two Seahawks.
5 years removed from the league.
To me, those are both Hall of Famers.
Probably not first ballot.
I don't care about first ballot or not, but those are Hall of Famers.
It's going to be hard for Earl.
I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Safeties have a hard time.
The other 4 biggest names here, I think, are Eli Manning, Luke Kuechly, Terrell Suggs, and Adam Vinatieri.
All 4 of those could be first-timers.
See, I think 7 of these 8 are Hall of Famers, and I don't think Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a bad quarterback who had 2 good years.
Mm-hmm.
So, or 2 good postseasons, really. Like you know me, I
know you. So, I know you.
My criteria is, were you a dominant player at your position?
Right.
I don't think Eli Manning was ever that.
Yeah.
Marshawn was, Earl was, Kuechly was, Suggs was, Vinatieri was.
Yeah, it's hard because on the biggest stage, were you the very, very best? And did you help propel your team to 2 Super Bowl championships?
He did do that.
Yep.
But the career is not a Hall of Fame career.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he'll probably get in because his last name is Manning.
And it's New York.
Right. All of those things will factor in. But of this list of 8 guys, he would be 8th on my list.
Mm-hmm. That'd be a good conversation. I think G's probably got an opinion on Earl and Sean.
I would hope so.
Probably.
He's got an opinion on everything, even things he doesn't know anything about. So, G's coming up next. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
The Mike McDonald Show. The first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We had a great plan going in, and we were able to adjust as the game went on. Geno played a tremendous, watching the tape again, I thought he played a tremendous game. DK had a great game. Jackson had a great game. I mean, you can just kind of go down the list. Offensive line protected well for the most part. I mean, there's some things we got to look at, but felt like we were the aggressor throughout the course of the game. And then just to finish it off the way that we did offensively.
Don't miss the Mike McDonald Show the morning after the Hawks game at 9:30 on Seattle Sports.
All right, look, there's a lot of weight loss plans and medications out there to help you lose weight. And the problem with a lot of them is that they don't teach you how to keep it off long term. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic does, because they give you a tool bag of knowledge how to easily keep the weight off and still allow you to enjoy your life. Now, sometimes you might have started enjoying it a little too much, like I did, got a little carried away here over the summer. So you know what? Jump right back on the program. 3 weeks later, down 20 pounds. Feel great. Yeah, it's just not that hard, and I'm not hungry, and the food tastes good, and they're great recipes, and you buy all the food at the grocery store, so you're not eating prepackaged garbage, and you're not taking injections or medications or anything like that. It's a pretty awesome program. It really, really does work. Are you ready to try it? Well, here's what I want you to do. Call 425-588-0080 or go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Can't fix everything for everybody, but you can be there and listen and try to help with what you can. You're there to support them, and that's the best that you can do.
Justin Meek. He's the leader and caretaker of the 380 people who consider Lee Johnson their home.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us. My wife and 3 kids in the house, there's always something wrong with somebody at all times. And if there isn't, then something's wrong. When you have 388 employees, there's never a day that everything is good everywhere. You have to be okay with that. You have to look at that as opportunities to gain a better relationship with people and help them through what they're going through.
The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Stacey Rost here. It's time to recognize a woman in our sports community with the 2024 Women of Inspiration Award. The nominations are in, and the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events, needs your help selecting a winner. Voting is open now until September 20th at woiseattle.org. The winner will receive a generous cash donation from WISE and their partners for the cause of their choice. Help honor a local woman today. Vote by September 20th at woiseattle.org.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Green Day present the Saviors Tour. Live in Seattle, T-Mobile Park, September 23rd. Performing both Dookie and American Idiot in their entirety, plus fan favorites and tracks from their new album, Saviors, with the Smashing Pumpkins, Rancid, and the Linda Lindas. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Green Day, the Saviors Tour, fueled by Monster Energy.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist you with any lighting issue, as well as help with intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting expert since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
This hour is brought to you by Amazon Hub Delivery.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
RG's got here a day early. Oh my gosh. He's got to go to Columbus tomorrow.
That's right.
Are you going to go to Springfield?
I got to get to Springfield.
She's going to go to Springfield.
I'm from Springfield, Ohio, Brock.
Yeah.
You
go check it out.
You need me to ask any questions?
He's
going to
be boots on the ground.
Just go check it out, G.
Yeah.
Like,
you going to be on a short leash while you're there?
Eyes wide open.
Yeah, short. Yeah, kind of a short leash.
Short leash.
Hey, real quick. I know you guys. I know you guys want to talk sports, but before we get to that, by the way, we are on the #1 sports station. I need to remind everybody that if you're listening, this is the #1 sports station. But so I came in today. And I was just like, because Salk he didn't have the fire that I'm used to. So I kept coming in the break. I'm trying to hug him, and he's not really having that fire. I'm like, man, where's his fire? And Lyle's like, oh, no. Oh, he's got fire.
Yeah.
I'm like, does he? Because I was thinking, and I don't want to take this too far, but I was just thinking about myself, right? Like, I have noticed that the older I get, the less emotional I get about this. I don't know if it's from low T or not, but what ends up happening is, look at that low T.
G, hold on a second.
Talking about that.
What's that? What?
G, hold on a second.
Do you want to endorse the low T thing?
G.
Yeah.
G. Huh. Well, listen to this. So a few months back, when we were at spring training, I guess it's been about 8-9 months back, right? We go to spring training. We have a great time, and it gives us a chance to really spend quality time together. And that's Maura, Justin, me, Salk, all this time. And I don't get up at 4. I don't do that anymore. God bless Salk, he does. And I understand afternoon naps, right? I understand having to play a little catch up. Lyle's trying to figure that out. That's why he's battling headaches every day. Like, he's trying to figure these things out. But we spend the week, and like one of the days, and we're all on the same schedule that week. And one of the days, I came over there, put a little meal together, and Salk was out for like 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours.
Okay.
From like 2 to 5:30.
Okay.
And it kind of comes out of bed like, bro, you all right?
Yeah.
And so I thought about it. We flew home, spent another week, and I finally had to bring it up to him. I'm like, Mike, we're good enough friends. We've shared a lot of life together. I think I can share anything with you, right?
For the record, I don't think we are.
He told Justin and I he was going to have this conversation, and we're like, we're going to leave the room during the break.
I said, if you guys need to leave the room, leave the room.
I actually don't think we're good enough friends for this conversation.
Wait. Has this story been told on the air yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, keep going.
No, so
Keep
then
going.
I was like,
Yeah,
hey,
please
man,
do.
like, have you ever thought about getting your testosterone checked? Have you thought about that? Just kind of, because super. And by the way, it's great companies to endorse. In every sports radio station I listen to across America, they've all got hosts that are on there talking
But
about.
your reasoning for this is that
I think John
tired.
Curley right now is rubbing human growth hormone on his forearms, like as we speak right now.
Being tired as early as we get up is one thing, but like an hour nap, not a 4-hour nap.
Okay, so you're going. Now, question, what does Salk say? What does he say?
What did he say in that moment? He was a great friend. We're great friends. He's like, I don't think so. He wasn't offended. He wasn't hurt. He wasn't any of that stuff. He's like, no, I don't think so. Like, hair's still strong. Skin looks great.
He does look good.
Some of the other workouts, some of the other drive in his life is totally fine. So no, he's like, I don't think I need that at all.
I mean, it's almost like you caught him off third in this case, right? Off third base.
Bat swinging at him, G. Bat just flying right at him. Ducking out of the way. Yes. Do you do hormone therapy stuff, G?
Hey, look here, player. I've changed. There's a few things I've done. I've changed because I know I got to the point where I was like, man, I think I do got the little OT. You feel me? Hey, Doc, what's good? Get that blood work going. He's like, man, you not like you used to be, but here's what you can do. So I wanted to go natural.
Wait, hold on. So the doc said your T's not where it was.
It's not where
but
it was.
It's not considered low.
Right.
It's just lower.
I'm still there.
Okay.
I'm still there.
You have lower T.
Right. I'm right now. I was small T. I'm big T now.
Oh,
capital T.
Because you've been using something?
So I went carnivore diet.
Right.
As you can see, your boy slimming up.
You look good.
You know what I'm saying? I'm slimming up.
Good, yeah.
So the carnivore diet.
Can't tell today. You got the super thick sweatshirt on.
Yeah. I hit them squats. You got to hit them squats, man. You got to, you got to get in your legs, man. The bottom half of your body, you got to take care.
Can't skip leg day.
And by the way, you can't just be in the gym with the tee. No, you got, you got to hit the squats, man. Somebody said I got Irish tea.
Yeah.
Man.
As long as you don't have Mr. T, I pity the fool. All right. Well, anyway, 360 says I knew Salk had low T. I don't think I do. I don't think that's a problem in my life, but
Have you gotten it measured though?
No, I'm going to the doctor. So I'm going to can the normal doctor measure that?
100%.
Yes.
When I go to the doctor.
Yes, they do your blood work.
Can we not talk about the results on air?
I'm going to the doctor next week, the week after, something like that.
First of all, we should not be ashamed of these discussions.
I'm not ashamed. I just don't think it's a problem.
And by the way, when you
I got plenty of other problems.
When you take your T from small T to capital T, I'm gonna tell you something. There's a lot of benefits to that. I'm being serious. Am
I going to be able to do handiwork around the house after this?
You have more energy.
Yep.
You have better rest.
Right.
Right. And
Sleep better.
I don't want to say the obvious.
Well, I don't know about T, but he was bringing up squats. I do my squats, and I didn't pull a hamstring during our race.
You also lost to a guy who pulled a hamstring during the race.
And
but
your
that's a side
hamstring
note.
still hasn't healed, probably.
Right, because you think more T
some
would help with that.
testosterone,
No,
human growth hormone.
No, I'm telling you, it puts you in a better mood.
Well, if I need HGH, why don't you get me in touch with your friend Peyton? Or, I'm sorry, with Peyton's wife, obviously. Not with him himself.
Wow.
Just his wife. I'm sure he knew nothing about it.
So silly.
I mean, if you think it would help me, you sound like you got a pretty good in.
Less brain fog.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Increased energy. Actual sleep. So when you do go to sleep at night, you know what I'm saying? So if you go to sleep for 5 to 6 hours, you're actually sleeping, right? Not every 25 minutes waking up.
French bulldog out of my bed, I think, would help more with that. Anyway, all right. Well, I guess we've learned quite a bit here.
When are you getting your testosterone tested next week?
Well, I go to the doctor soon. I forget exactly when it is. Okay. They don't text me every 3 days like the dentist, so I don't know exactly when it is. It's in my calendar, and I could go look it up. But they don't send me 25 texts just like trying to
just for me and G
figure out my location.
Why don't
every
you
couple
get
minutes.
your testosterone tested?
I think
lots of people encouraging it on the text line.
Yeah, all right. I'm happy to do that. I'll get it tested. What do I care?
So, but is this a first on the Brock and Salk show?
Talking about T?
About small T and capital T?
I think so. Yeah.
Brock, Brock, why are you so encouraged to talk about it?
Well, I just want a healthy mic. I mean, I think we all just want a healthy mic. I don't think we need a 3-hour nap a day mic. Right?
Hey, I come from the school
if
of Mike
we don't
Salk.
want a 3-hour nap a day, Salk, what we need to do is stop having me get up at 4:30 in the freaking morning. I am not a morning person. This has been torture for me for 3 years.
Did you tell Boss Lady?
Yes, I tell her it every time I see her, and she doesn't care.
Gee, I had my testosterone. I'm good. Yep, I'm totally good on that one. I got a 2. I got
so
a lot of other issues.
What are you going to say if I get it tested and it's like,
Off
A+?
the charts?
What if they say, we've never seen this much tea in a person before? Then what? What are you going to say then?
Go to London?
There's no way they're going to say that because they measure John Curley. John does his
What
blood
if they're
work
like,
there.
what if I get my tea tested and afterwards they're like, we're going to call, what is it called? WADA, the doping agency or whatever. Like, you have we think that you might be a professional cyclist because this is too much.
I will say though, you do have a nice little vein right there in the neck.
It's popping.
Maybe it's popping.
I know. That's because I'm mad.
Is that you associate that with?
Real quick, we cannot get out of this. Follow up. Brock, again.
Yeah. Yes.
You got your tea checked?
Yes.
And your tea, and you said your tea was good or your tea was addressed?
No, tea's strong. Really strong. I was hoping to kind of take something. I was hoping for hair, for skin, for, recovery, all these things. I was like, oh, please. Kind of tell me I'm low T so I can, and who knows, maybe G even endorse, right? I mean, we're in the endorsement business.
253 says the 3 years have been torture for us too. All right, that's enough. How dare you? G, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today in addition to T. But let's start with the Hall of Fame because Brock and I were starting to debate this, and we figured you would have some sort of point of view.
Oh boy,
Marshawn Lynch, Hall of Famer?
Not before Shaun Alexander. I just had this discussion with a Seahawk legend last week. We literally went back and forth on this. You cannot put Marshawn Lynch in the Hall of Fame before Shaun Alexander. Now, I know there's a lot of people who's like, oh, but I heard he falls down all the time. Look, if Shaun Alexander was better liked off the field, we would be having a different discussion.
Well, let's just ask a simple question. Was Shaun Alexander one of the dominant running backs of his time?
Oh, God, yes.
Okay, then he belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Was Marshawn Lynch one of the dominant running backs of his time?
Yes.
He belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think one of the challenges,
the entire criteria for me.
Well, I think it goes deeper, and they discuss this deeper, and they debate everything. And I think what you see, G, and the challenge I would have with that argument is the left guard and left tackle are in Canton for a reason on Shaun Alexander's O-line because they were the ones that paved the way.
Yeah, but hold on. But once TD gets in, that argument's got to be out the door, right?
Hold on. I'm gonna say something that's unpopular, and I know that the left guard and of course the left tackle are in the Hall of Fame, but the left guard's in the Hall of Fame because he literally played next to the greatest offensive lineman to ever play the game in Walter Jones. Right. And I don't know that Hutch went on to be was he ever as dominant when he left out of here as he was when he was next to that man? My point is this. It's like the Brock and Salk show. You feel me? Like, y'all make each other better. Right. But you're not as good when you go away from each other. So anyway, there's that. But Shaun Alexander needs his due. 4 years in a row, 15-plus touchdowns. He needs his due. He was NFL MVP. He needs his due. It was Shaun Alexander, y'all, that started the expectation
I think that's
of
fair.
Seahawk football today.
Okay, I'm with you. Sure, put him in the Hall of Fame. I have no objections to that. But you would agree that Marshawn should be in the Hall of Fame?
Sure.
You don't sound that confident about it.
I think Marshawn is going to get a lot of Marshawn's hot in the news. Marshawn's a hot item. Anytime you bring up Amazon, like, hey, Marshawn, just go into the classroom and just open the door and say, hi, kids. And that's, you know what I mean? Like, Marshawn is hot. So
are you okay with including that in the criteria? Because I am. I do believe when they say the word is Hall of Fame, I don't mind using fame as part of Hall of Fame.
Here's why I don't like that. I don't like that because it was used against Terrell Owens being a first ballot Hall of Famer. I literally sat there, may he rest in peace, and went back and forth with my good buddy, the professor. Yes, we do miss him. Back and forth on, wow, he just shouldn't get in. He shouldn't get in as a first ballot. Sorry. Put your personal feelings to the side.
Sort of crazy. That guy's
Terrell
a first ballot
Owens is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Of course.
So that's why I don't like the bias. Anything off, forget off the field.
But you're allowing other people's views on other people in the Hall of Fame to affect what you think about these people in the Hall of Fame.
No, I'm trying to make sure that I keep my opinions based on what I saw on the field.
And so do you think Marshawn Lynch is a Hall of Famer?
Sure. How
weird answer.
But not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Not first ballot.
Not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I don't care about that.
How long was Marshawn he left Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
He came to the Seattle Seahawks. Marshawn Lynch, I'd say arguably owned the next
5 years?
4 or 5 years.
2000,
I'd say 4.
He came here in 10, right?
He came here in 10. First game against the Bears.
And then later that year was the Beast
against the Saints.
So you got to say he dominated 10, 11, 12, 13, 14?
I don't want to give him the dominant.
Dominate 10 on a 7-win team?
No. How about this?
No.
How about we say Marshawn Lynch, fair, dominated 4 years. Now, I will also give credit on Marshawn, and here's why he gets in. And by the way, way before Russell Wilson. I know that's going to hurt some of you guys' feelings. Marshawn Lynch is the reason for, all of it. He is the beginning. He's the backbone.
Right.
That beast quake was the start of, this isn't the same Seattle team. That Seattle offense that would extend drives on the field consistently all the time because they were bad as hell up front. And you know who doesn't get any props? I hate to sway off this topic, but I know a lot of you guys used to say, oh, this Breno Giacomini, he's such a dirtbag. It was Breno Giacomini's dirtbag play that had that offensive line.
By the way, Marshawn had over 1,200 yards in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he still had a pretty darn good
I
year.
go 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, I think like TD. I mean, TD was 5 years. Terrell Davis there in Denver. Right?
And then
it wasn't sustainable.
And then he gets hurt in 15, kind of gone in 16. Yeah, I mean, so it wasn't sustainable, but man, what he did during that. And by the way, he did have 1,100 and 1,000 yards in his first 2 seasons in Buffalo. So it's not like he was a chump while he was in Buffalo.
And unlike these receivers and quarterbacks, right, that are going to, as this league has exploded into a passing game, he's going to have the benefit of those numbers looking really good because it's really hard for running backs to sustain period.
So we agree that he belongs. We're going to get to Eli. Earl. See, to me, Earl, dominant safety of his generation. He's a Hall of Famer.
So if there's one thing, like I said, I keep bringing up the professor in this conversation because it was the professor that taught me long ago, hey, it's hard for safeties to get in. Mm-hmm. And I have been tracking that. I think.
Right, this isn't about whether he will get in.
I think Earl Thomas, I would put Earl Thomas in the Hall of Fame before I'd put Marshawn Lynch.
He was certainly a dominant player at his position.
He was, I'd arguably say, the best.
Yeah, exactly.
He was the best.
All right. So I think we all agree. Brock, do you think Earl's a Hall of Famer? Should be a Hall of Famer?
He should be. It's going to take these guys a while.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
It's going to take them a while.
I think the next 3 are beyond obvious, don't even need a debate. Luke Kuechly is a Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. He was the best linebacker of his day. He's a Hall of Famer. Do you have any disagreement there?
I think Urlacher and similar era. I think there would be some different debates.
Didn't Urlacher kind of precede him? I kind of think of him as the post-Urlacher era.
He did, but similar.
I mean, him and Bobby are the 2 dominant linebackers of that time. I think that Kuechly is a no-doubt Hall of Famer. Okay. I think Terrell Suggs is a no-doubt Hall of Famer.
Oh, no doubt.
The second his name is brought up, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Did he ever get braces, G?
Stop it.
Okay, next.
I think that Adam Vinatieri is a no doubt Hall of Famer.
100%.
He's the greatest kicker of all time. Add in the clutch, all of it. Those guys to me are all no doubt. The question and the one big debate is Eli.
Okay.
Is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer?
So Eli Manning, for me is like Bob Ferguson for the state of Washington, right? Like,
oh boy,
I mean,
here we go.
Oh, gee, what
here
are
we
doing?
go.
Gee, we don't do this.
My bad.
What did you say earlier? The number one sports? What? We don't do this.
Okay, my bad.
That's why.
Okay,
Give me a different analogy.
Okay, different analogy.
Get the get the slot machine and come up with a little different analogy.
All right. Well, because that one.
Eli Manning is the what?
Eli Manning gets my vote for the Hall of Fame, but I hate that I have to give it to him. There it is. Okay, and the reason why I don't think Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer, but he gets my vote is because he beat the GOAT twice. So you can't have a guy be the quarterback of a team. Oh, by the way, one of those years they were 9-7 wild card team. Bruh, sometimes you just have moments of your life. It's like being in a marriage for 30-something years. You know what I'm saying? And then you're doing your reminiscence and you're thinking about moments. And you're like, baby, we had some good times in our 20s. Yeah. We never had them good times again in our 40s, 50s, and 60s. But at the same time, the same thing with Eli. You can say Eli was terrible.
He was.
But boy, Eli, during those moments, he had capital T.
Eli,
You got his numbers up, so
I
you
do.
got his numbers
Here's
up?
the biggest thing I would say in favor of Eli, who I do not think is a Hall of Famer. But the biggest thing I would say for Eli is that in 14 years, he missed one game.
Correct.
That is nuts. Correct. That is an absolute testament to him. He started 16 games out of 16 for 12 straight years. The next year it was 15, and then right back to 16 before he was done after the next season.
That is
an unbelievable number.
So it is the one thing that the Mannings never, ever, ever get credit for.
Right.
And not that they don't get credit for everything else,
Tough.
but honest to goodness, it is, and it's what I tell people.
Then they
all
might
the
have had
time.
help. I mean, heck, it goes in the family. You get a little help getting back out on the field.
You play through injury. You never complain. You don't wear one shoe that's a clown shoe. You don't put a brace on to show everybody. You go out and you play and you perform.
But he also
and to
has
do it in that
a
market.
117 and 117 record. He was dead even. He was never at any point in his career among the very best in the game. And I think
what was his final year? What was his final year in New York?
2019. He played 4 games in 2019.
Do you think it benefits him, the absolute dumpster fire chaos that has ensued in that team and with that team since his departure?
No.
That in those 5 years,
I don't
you
think so.
Okay.
His last few years, he was 3-12 and 5-11. I mean, and that was then before that 11-5. Before that 6-10, 6-10, 7-9. There's just a lot of those years.
Yes. Hey, man.
In the middle of his prime, where they're just bad.
Hey, man, you can.
I'm sorry, I can't do it.
You can fail in life 99 out of 100 times. You only got to be successful one time. And in the case of Eli Manning, he's been successful not once,
I get
but
it.
twice.
I get the argument.
And
he'll probably get in.
And when he was, he's getting in.
He's going to get in. He's a Manning, and he's in New York.
And when he, good boy. And when he was successful, Mike, who did he beat?
He beat Brady.
An undefeated.
He kind of beat Brady once. The other time was part of the defense to beat Brady.
Hey, Linda says, what does Geno about a 30-year marriage? Hey, Linda, do I get credit for collectively?
No.
Like I know people?
No. Doesn't work that way.
You don't get
But
that.
good job pivoting, man. Good job. I don't think you could have pivoted a couple years ago. Good job pivoting there off of it. And secondly, did you ever answer the question? So your testosterone does not come from any substance. It's just your meat and your squats.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I've changed that. I don't eat the processed foods. I don't have the sugar and all that. I try to get my sleep. Processed food. Now, don't get me wrong now. They got some, I don't know the name of it right, but I got some supplements, you see what I'm saying, that I'm also taking at the crib.
Oh.
That I pop them things from time to time. But no, I just try to stay at capital T.
So you don't take many supplements, do you? Do you still have to take that thing
I take
for
Nexium.
your... Yeah, is that for your...
acid reflux.
Yeah, for your acid reflux?
I take some Nexium for acid
reflux. That's it,
right? It's the only supplement. Yeah, I take some. Yeah.
What did you take for your sweaty pits?
I changed deodorants. And the big problem with the pits is that I'm allergic to a lot of deodorant. It makes me itch. So if I wear it, you see me here scratching like an ape. Like it really itches.
Okay.
So I've generally kind of had to revamp the whole deodorant thing, but I found some unscented deodorant that has helped finally.
Hey, last thing, G, last minute.
What you got, bro?
Seahawks going to be 3-0 Sunday afternoon?
Yeah, it got to happen, but a little concerning. Brandon Mebane and I on our podcast broke down film and really watched a lot of what's going on, and there's a concern. Giving up 185 yards rushing is not a good thing. I saw you guys' interview. By the way, great interview with Mike McDonald. You guys always do a good job, for sure. But I love it. Hey, that's on me. No excuses on that. And Seahawks need to communicate more. No, they're at home, Lumen Field, in front of the 12s against the Miami Dolphins team that, at the end of the day, one of the things I think we all know, if you are a Seahawk fan and you've been a Seahawk fan for a while, you already know.
Yeah.
Backup quarterbacks ain't no fun for us. you feel me?
Yeah.
Especially when they're in Arizona.
I don't think Skylar Thompson's going to the Hall of Fame.
It don't matter.
Does it matter?
It does not matter.
Not
it's
really.
the
McCoy,
NFL.
Andy Dalton.
I know.
You went through the whole
But we also saw
GPT
Bo. But
list.
now I've seen Bo Nix. Like things, I feel differently about it.
So nothing.
Last question for me.
What do you got?
Have you ever seen, and I wrote about this a little bit last night. You can read it at seattlesports.com. You ever see any coach in any sport willing to be as vulnerable and open-minded as Mike McDonald?
No.
It's crazy.
But I think I know what it is, because he's just so new to it all. And so what you're getting is you're getting a very transparent, a very vulnerable, and by the way, it is like guys love him. Like I have not met anyone yet. I remember when Pete first got here in 2010. Do you know how long it took for Pete to win over people? You know how many people was calling him Hollywood, all kinds of. When it comes to Mike, and even when it stands out in you guys' interview, it's like, oh, you guys ask a question, I'm going to answer it. Right? And I think that goes a lot.
Change. I hope he don't change.
It's pretty great so far.
Oh, man.
I got a lot of people wondering what the deodorant is for other people with the same problem. It's Mitchum.
Mitchum.
Mitchum Unscented Advanced.
When I was younger, I used to get Mitchum.
Mitchum Advanced.
Yeah, because my piss used to be hot garbage.
Yeah.
What
do you use now?
A degree, sport.
Yeah, all right. I tried that. It just makes me itch. Unfortunately, it's got something in there that makes me itch.
And if I don't have deodorant, and Mama got some at the hotel, because for some reason, I don't know why I always forget either a toothbrush or toothpaste or deodorant.
Don't forget deodorant.
I get that secret.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that secret worked for me.
You don't raise your hand if you're sure.
It won't make my tea smaller.
All right.
From low T to deodorant.
Yeah, it's a big show.
Hey, can I give a shout out to my podcast?
Yeah, of course.
Yes,
The Reset.
The Reset.
On
That's
YouTube.
right. The Reset with G. Scott on YouTube.
And
Go
a whole
check it out.
breakdown with Mebane.
Yeah, we broke down some film.
Nice.
We talked about that. Oh, and then we talked to Jonathan Hankins.
Big boy.
Yeah.
Big boy now.
Yeah, big guy. So we had him on the show. So really appreciate
He and Mebane get along well?
Do I think they would?
Did they? Oh, they weren't on together.
They probably would. They weren't on together.
Mebane like him, though?
Yes.
Okay.
He does.
That's pretty cool.
Did I tell you that B-Bane stat about him being number 4?
You what?
Only 4 people all time have ever played 13 years or more at defensive tackle.
Wow.
In the NFL.
And he's one of them?
Mebane, man.
Pretty impressive.
Yep. Hey, man, good talking to you guys.
Good stuff. You can catch G over on our sister station, 97.3 KIRO News Radio, in just a few minutes. G and Ursula gets going just after 9. We will come right back. And, what did I want to do with you, Brock? What do I have? Hold on. This is good. Oh, I did some research. I have analytics. I have numbers.
You have numbers?
I have numbers.
For me?
And they're backwards. And I have to ask you why. It's next on Brock and Salk.
Hawks Live.
Tonight from 7 to 9.
Live from Bellevue Square Center Court. Join former Seahawks Michael Bumpus and Paul Moyer as they go deep on the Hawks with player interviews and opponents' analysis.
And we look like offensively the team that we thought we were. How do we win a football game? That's what makes you a great quarterback.
Every Thursday night throughout the Hawks season.
Geno Smith has himself a day.
Presented by the Dining District of the Bellevue Collection.
On Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
As fall and winter weather sets in, your lawn becomes a muddy mess, and your kids and pets bring the mud inside. But with Synthetic Turf Northwest, you can have a lush, green yard year-round. No mud, no mess. Their premium synthetic turf systems drain fast and stay clean, no matter how hard it rains. Right now, during the Fall Blitz, you can save up to $1,500 on a new synthetic lawn. So say goodbye to muddy paws and say hello to your dream lawn. Call Synthetic Turf Northwest today or visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com to get started.
Have you tried the Dining District at the Bellevue Collection? Grab lunch with friends, meet up for happy hour, and stay for dinner and beyond. You can sample international flavors and local favorites from talented chefs. Try a new cocktail on a rooftop bar or watch the game with friends. And explore the lively nightlife scene. The Dining District at the Bellevue Collection, where your taste adventure begins. Learn more at BellevueCollection.com/Dining District.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. I'm a fifth-generation Pacific Northwesterner, graduated from UW and Seattle U School of Law. At Warrior Injury Law, we have years of experience in the trenches, fighting insurance companies for the people of Washington, my people. Forward! If you've been injured, you need a lawyer that is tough, confident, and battle-tested. Call us at 253-WARRIOR for your free case review. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO, Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call a physical therapist directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien. Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Is this house a good price compared to others in the area? Are prices going up or down? If I don't make an offer right this very moment, will I miss my chance? These are just some of the questions a home buyer might ask. And these are the sorts of questions an agent who is a realtor can help answer. Because realtors have the expertise, data, and access to specialty training to help you navigate the process of buying a home. They provide support, guidance, and have your back every step of the way. That's what realtors do, because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
Summer is here, and now's the time to break through those weight loss frustrations. Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, and we have a proven system that can help you lose weight and get healthy. No drugs, no side effects, no calorie counting, no exercise. Just teaching you the simple steps to become a fat-burning machine and keep it off long term. Remove the stress of trying to do this on your own and picture being down 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days with our help. At Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, we know the secret for fast and lasting weight loss using real healthy foods and lifestyle changes. Schedule your free consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
At least for me, no matter how good a weight loss plan is, no matter how good the food tastes, I need a level of accountability. I need somebody watching and monitoring me to make sure I'm actually sticking with it.
Our program has successfully helped thousands of people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in 60 days. You can start our program in person in Kirkland or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation today by calling 425-588-0080 or eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour is brought to you by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Give me a freaking auto! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just
Presented by Simply Seattle.
Eward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
All right, final hour here of the Brock and Salk Show. Maura's got fantasy advice for everybody at 9:45. So if you've got questions, text them in, please, to 866-979-3776. And Maura will answer some of those in addition to some other thoughts she has fantasy-wise. That's 9:45. We do that every Thursday now.
Fantasy football-wise.
Yes, fantasy football. Yeah, not any question on any subject, just about fantasy
football forecast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So send some text on that.
You
Brock,
just got to throw in football with that. That's all I'm saying. Don't just say Maura's got all the answers for fantasy-wise.
Fair point. Yeah, for fantasy football. All right. Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point. I told you I have some numbers here.
Right.
And they're backwards.
Oh, great.
So you could choose whatever you want, whatever metric you want. Mm-hmm. I grabbed QBR, but I could have grabbed quarterback rating, or I could have grabbed like EPA, whatever, like any of these. But I grabbed QBR. That's the ESPN stat they use to rank quarterbacks, right?
Yep.
How is this the top 6? Derek Carr.
Makes sense.
Given up for and left for dead.
Yep.
Kyler Murray. Given up and left for dead. Josh Allen. Okay, fine. Geno Smith. Given up and left for dead. Sam Darnold. Given up and left for dead. And Baker Mayfield. Given up and left for dead. 5 of the top 6 names in the league right now. Now it's only 2 games, I understand. But in 2 games to start this year, how are all of those guys ahead of Joe Burrow, ahead of Trevor Lawrence, ahead of Lamar Jackson, ahead of Matthew Stafford, ahead of Aaron Rodgers, ahead of Patrick Mahomes? How is that possible? What is happening here?
Well, it is early, I would say that. And even with Josh Allen, Salk, most forecasts, I think even Vegas had them like 7 wins. Like he's lost all his weapons. He's lost Stephon Diggs. He's lost the pieces around him. It's going to be kind of a reset year. And he's like, no.
And he's not naturally accurate, right? Part of the conversation with him is about like his
playmaking, his running ability, his creativity.
Right,
all
but
the
even
other
let's
things that
take him out of the conversation. Those other 5 guys, have either currently or at some point been. I mean, Derek Carr's on his 2nd team. Kyler Murray's on his 1st team, but everybody pretty much universally agrees that to give him that deal was a joke. Geno Smith's on his 4th team. Sam Darnold's on at least his 3rd or 4th team. And Baker Mayfield's on his 4th team.
Yep.
Those are all guys that at least multiple teams have given up on, and the rest of the public has been like, yeah, they're done. They're not good. We all know this. They're not good quarterbacks, and right now they're 5 of the 6 best quarterbacks in the game.
Yeah, I think I probably lean into a lot of what Trent Green talked about with Geno yesterday of just right time, right place, right people around you. And yes, that was a triple, and I did not interrupt myself.
Nice job.
Right time, right place, right people around you.
But is that enough to make them better than Joe Burrow, to make them better than Lamar? Are they in the wrong place with the wrong people?
No.
Better than Matthew Stafford? I mean, these are guys who've either won or been to Super Bowls, MVPs, Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
long season, very small sample size. You say this to me in baseball. We don't look at baseball numbers in the month of April because, right, they can be fool's gold, as you saw with Jared Kelnick in April and May with the Atlanta Braves. Oh, my gosh, he's, right place, right time, found himself. Well, let the rest of the year play out.
100%.
As the rest of the year plays out, I promise you at the end of the season, in fact, I will pay for all of your testosterone and HGH and anything else you want right out of my pocket if those are the 6 that end up 1 through 6 in QBR at the end of the year.
I understand that, and I agree.
Yes.
But it is interesting how maybe it's just for a couple of games.
Yep.
I get it. Yeah. And if it was only 1 or 2 of those guys, I'd be like, okay, so
well,
what?
you saw, now to add a little clarity to this in context, Baker Mayfield took a huge step there last year. Now, Dave Canales left, and I think he was a big part of that. But, he took a significant step last year, got extended. Geno, the last 2 years, the next level stats tell you, Salk, he's been pretty good. And
Derek Carr has some history where, he's had his moments.
Sam Darnold's the outlier there. And Kyler Murray.
Yes, especially Sam Darnold.
Yes, Kyler. I think they had a year, weren't they like 10-1? And absolutely rolling, and then, the wheels came off of Cliff and everything else. Yeah, I mean, outlier is Sam. So for Sam, you got the best receiver in the game. For Sam, you got a tremendous play caller. For Sam, you got a good offensive line. For Sam, you've got a good tight end. I mean, he has some pieces and components there, and maybe not too dissimilar, by the way, to a Baker Mayfield that needed that stop in L.A. Baker Mayfield he was done in Cleveland. He was done in Carolina. He was done. And then he needed 2 or 3 weeks with Sean McVay, needed a little QB rehab, and then went and flourished.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold, that was a lot of the talk, man. Went to San Francisco last year. Get to really be trained and equipped in that system with Shanahan. And
yes, probably helped him long term.
I think it has.
A couple other interesting notes here on this. One, you know who number 10 is on this list? Anthony Richardson.
On the QBR list?
Yeah. That seemed a little odd given all the conversation about how inaccurate he is and this and that. Like, I know. And yet somehow, I guess he's made enough plays and maybe, again, small sample size, but seeing him at number 10, it's like, oh, that's kind of interesting to me.
Yep.
The other thing this made me think is maybe everyone's got to chill out a little bit on ripping Bryce Young and on ripping Justin Fields and some of these guys who are going to be on their second or third or whatever stop they're going to be on shortly.
Did you see Kuiper's rant the other day?
I saw the one where he said we have to remove 2 high safeties from the game.
Oh,
that is absurd.
No, not that one. The one on what Carolina's done to him and just
how they've broken him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 18 games. Mike Sando, a great piece in The Athletic about it. Like, what are we doing here?
Does Mel have anything to gain by stating that he was a good number 1 pick, but that they've ruined him in Carolina?
No, I think Mel was saying there were concerns. And, the thought that Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson had broken the size and height barrier, that you could be 5'10", and his point, a good one, and that would have been my concern. Those guys were, 200-plus pounds, sturdy, well built, well put together. I think Bryce, ate Chick-fil-A for a month to try to weigh 200 pounds at the combine, but he's a narrow-shouldered, much smaller, 190-pound small guy. And that has really come to life. But what they have done in 18 games, already changing coaches, changing coordinators, all of that. I mean, what? Yeah, Tom Brady had a great rant this summer about it, too, of how to grow and develop quarterbacks. And then what you're doing to them is actually destroying many more of these guys than actually equipping them and developing them.
QBR, somebody says it's a stupid made-up stat. Sure. You could choose quarterback rating. They all look a little bit different, but I'm just choosing one. That was the one I happened to grab. They all have roughly the same people.
And that one is accuracy, and that one is, they do try to do some next-level stuff with it, and it's by comparison. Right, that is one of those numbers. You may not like it, but at least gives you a comparative, like the bell curve with everybody and all the quarterbacks who have played, all measured by that same metric. And by any metric, Geno's been awesome this year, and I hope he keeps it going.
Well, I thought it was just a small sample size.
He's been awesome, and I hope he keeps it going.
It's just a small sample size,
2 years
right?
and 2 games.
Just a small sample size.
Yeah. Well, he's been pretty good. He had more game. When they flashed that stat up last week, by the way. He's had more game-winning drives in the fourth quarter last year than any other QB in the league. Did that last year, and once again, did it again down.
Here's what the list looks like if you want to go quarterback rating instead. Carr is 1, Mayfield 2, Allen 3, then Kyler Murray 4, Sam Darnold 5, C.J. Stroud moves up a little to 6, Geno moves down a little to 7.
So all the same guys.
I mean, but it's basically the same group of guys. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but it's still that group at the top. And then Patrick Mahomes 15, Rodgers 14, Burrow 10, Herbert 11, right? Jordan Love, who just got paid 20. I mean, it's just fascinating to me how all of that has gotten backwards. All right, we'll give you guys everything you need to know. Moore's Fantasy Football segment is coming up in about a half hour. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
After this weekend, 3 games in, Mike McDonald could be dealing with something that he probably thought he wouldn't be dealing with all the hype behind the Seattle Seahawks. For the national perspective, if they're 3-0, people are going to be like, oh my God, Hawks are contenders.
Yeah.
But we know they got to twist some things.
I almost want, even though I would always root for an underdog, the Saints to lose, because if they drop anywhere close to 40 on the Eagles, they're going to be the story, and the Seahawks are going to be, hello? What about me?
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
Guys, I'll never forget the first time I saw somebody get results at our clinic. He was an 81-year-old man who hadn't been intimate with his wife in over 8 years. Viagra had stopped working for him, and he was desperate for help. After several treatments, he walked into my office and told me he couldn't believe the results. Needless to say, this was a very happy man. This man made me a believer in what we do. He had taken pills for years, but he had never fixed the problem. When he came to us, we fixed the problem. Our treatment does what no pill can do. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today, like the thousands of men who already have.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
To me, the LJ way is to provide an experience that people really enjoy being a part of. And they enjoy being a part of it because they're getting great service. They're talking with somebody that actually they feel cares about them. They care about what their impression is going to be walking away. It's also understanding you're now part of our family, and thank you for doing the business with us. And this is how we're going to show our appreciation through customer service. We're going to show our appreciation with taking care of you if you ever have an issue. Majority of the people that are coming to see us are within our community. These are people who are providing maybe services that we also use in our community. So the LJ way, to me, somebody can come into a retail setting and not feel like they got to have their guard up. And that's been a long-standing thing in the car business that, we've tried to shake.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
At Shane Company, we make finding your perfect engagement ring fun and easy. Because let's be honest, you might feel a little stressed out. We get it. That's why we do all the hard stuff. It's our job to bring you the biggest selection of beautiful diamonds and colorful gemstones, so many amazing settings, and all the customization your heart desires. We've got your style and your price range covered, and we're here to guide you every step of the way. Come in for a warm welcome and leave with your dream ring and an experience you'll never forget. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on SeattleSports.com.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
There's an old saying that a house is not a home. But the Mariners house, T-Mobile Park, is home to an awful lot. Home to plays you can't believe.
Right shot, diving catch. Holy smokes, what a play by Crawford.
Home to 6-foot salmon that don't swim, they sprint. And even home to hot dogs that fall from heaven. Hallelujah.
Everybody likes free food just falling from the sky.
Oh, yeah. And it's also home to 47,000 screaming faithful night after night.
We have a sellout crowd. I mean, the folks are up there in the rafters.
T-Mobile Park is our house. Mariners fans make it our home. Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
Be here for the home stretch at T-Mobile Park. The Mariners are wrapping up their series against the Yankees tomorrow afternoon at 1:10. Then catch the final matchup of the regular season versus the A's September 27th to 29th, including Fan Appreciation Fireworks Night presented by T-Mobile on Friday the 27th. Get your tickets today at mariners.com.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
I have, Brock. Maybe the conversation about low T. I've run out of energy and passion to talk about the Mariners' loss last night. I've run out of an ability to keep getting myself fired up about it. I was early today. I didn't blame Julio. I know other people do. By about 70-30, that's roughly where the poll results were.
Yep.
It's a terrible, regardless, it's just an unbelievable way to essentially end your season.
It is just...
I've never seen anything like it.
I'm
Dan Wilson
trying
called it a
to-
freak scenario, and I think I would agree with that.
I'm trying to, in our 16 years of doing this, nearing 16 years, 15 and a half years of doing this, a team that we have covered from beginning to end that has had such a fatal flaw that it's destroyed so many of the other amazing components or amazing component about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think there was ever like a Husky team or a Seahawks team that was so good in one way and yet so struggled consistently in other ways that it just derailed
the
it.
closest you would come to this would be the 2010 Mariners.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They also had a very
Cliff
good pitching
and
staff.
Felix. Yep.
Yep, Vargas when he was good. Like they had
But
a.
this is 5 deep.
I know it's not
man.
as big as that, but
This
that's probably the
is-
closest I would come to.
Yeah, probably. Because I can't think of a football team, right? I mean, yeah, there was offense and defense in the LOB, but there was always complementary. They played complementary ball.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just your pitching. Bryce last night was unbelievable. You're just kind of waiting, like, okay, you're going to run out of gas. Okay, this is the Yankees. Oh, he's going to go 4 innings. Yeah, he's going to get to 90 pitches and be out of there, and they're going to get to the bullpen. No.
Right.
And he was like, the heck with that. Texarkana tough right here, boy. I'm going to suck it up, and I'm going to give you 6 innings of 1-run ball for the 14th time this year. And he joins Logan Gilbert for the 14th time this year.
It's amazing.
Which is one behind both Lugo and the freak show up there, Schoolboy in Detroit. That's it. And yet you're a 500 team. It's just hard.
Do you think they're going to finish above 500?
I don't know, man.
Do you think it matters? Does it matter to you how these last 10 games go?
I
if
would
they
hope
don't make
how
it?
they finish matters to the decision makers there.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope it continues to expose some of these terribly problematic bats and veteran bats that are just done. I mean, I hope that it would expose some of those things. But man, what a challenge.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Seahawks' first injury report of the week was long.
Problematic.
It's problematic. It's long. It's lengthy. Ken Walker, Jerome Baker, Shannon Nwosu, Boye Mafe, Leonard Williams, DK Metcalf, all big-time players who did not practice at all. The limited group has its ups and downs. The bad news, Noah Fant, Tyler Lockett, Derek Hall, Devin Witherspoon. The good news, Pharaoh Brown and George Fant, both of whom had been non-participants who can finally practice at least a little.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, those are good signs, right?
That's a good sign.
That's moving forward.
Yeah, you'd really like to get kind of George back in there. As Ray said, is he going to be the answer? Was it all that much different in the opening week with him in versus
He was only
Forsythe?
in for like two possessions, right?
Yeah, and I think that was second quarter. Yeah. But it'd be nice to get him, and Pharaoh's an amazing blocker, and helping block the edge and do those things should help a run game that continues to try to find exactly what it is and what style they want to play. And today will be the most important part of that. And some of those names do concern me because they have not been issues at all, nor were they in finish the game, that being Woolen and DK and some. So, yeah, certainly something to keep an eye on over the next couple days.
Also debated the Hall of Fame as the new candidates were announced, 16 of them, 2 former Seahawks, Marshawn and Earl, and then other first-timers like Eli Manning, Luke Kuechly, Terrell Suggs, Adam Vinatieri. To me, Suggs and Vinatieri are the most obvious there.
Yep.
Probably followed by Kuechly.
Yep.
And then I would put Marshawn and Earl next, and Eli to me. I would have Eli out. I know he'll get in. But those last 3 are probably the most debatable. I don't see how you could have Terrell Davis in and not Marshawn Lynch. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yep. Not going to be first ballot, but in time should happen.
How about Marshawn's speech to the Hall of Fame? That's going to be entertaining.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
here's the third thing you need to know.
Training camp starts today for the Kraken as they are going to open up with a new head coach for the first time, Dan Bilesma. And they did go out in free agency, spent a little money. Chandler Stevenson and Brandon Montour both got pretty big deals. Are they going to be game changers? I'm curious to see just where they slot in. Who will Stevenson
Where will they be if there are NHL, ESPN power rankings?
And
we talked about this with
20 to 23.
32 teams in NHL?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I'm going to guess in the low 20s.
Low 20s?
Yeah.
And whereas the Seahawks, who were in those low 20s, just did not feel right, at least to me. I felt much more like they're a mid-teens team.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like the Kraken, especially in the Western Conference, are still looking up at teams with a lot of star-studded talent.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
All right. Is that it?
That's it. It's everything you need to know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those are NFL. I wanted to see if I get some NHL power rankings for you to see what they say.
Yeah.
Let's see. You want Bleacher Reports? That's
Sure.
the first one that I clicked on here, of course, because they get they're so good at the search optimization. Let's see. 26, 25. They have them at 25.
There you go.
Yeah, 25.
Thanks.
Yeah, which is kind of where they seem like they should be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I've seen any evidence to kind of put them too much higher than that. What did I say? Maybe 22? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's, not a negligible difference.
Lyle, you play any hockey down there at ASU? Did you play any hockey at Lake Washington? Any hockey?
No, they don't even have much hockey around the Seattle area, I feel like. Well, maybe they have more now.
Oh, they do now.
I got hockey practice with Cecily later tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't have it when I was in high school. I'll say that.
No, not a lot of that.
I mean, ASU has a Division I hockey team.
Joey DeCord went.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. But
isn't that where the Yotes played last year, in fact, I think?
Yeah.
TSN, or Sportsnet Canada, rather, has them at 26.
Okay.
So yeah, kind of mid. I said early 20s, mid 20s. Okay,
Mid-20s.
that's kind of what you're looking at, unfortunately. All right, you know what we have not really done this week, Brock, and it's probably time to do so here because I know you're only going to. Are you going to do Blue 88 tomorrow? We're going to have you for Blue 88.
To be determined. With some meeting times. Yes.
Brady's in tomorrow, so some of this will get done with Brady, and then we'll have Daniel Jeremiah tomorrow at 8:30, which is kind of fun. Do it a little later in the week this week just to accommodate everybody's schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of sound for you just on this matchup. What are we expecting? Miami, backup quarterback, plenty of weaponry, especially on offense. We'll delve in together next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
If you were the Seahawks, who's a player you would use more, and how would you do it?
Come on, man. I've been saying this name for 2-3 years now.
D. Eskridge.
No, 2 years. D's
Just
gone.
kidding. I know D's gone.
D's gone.
D's gone. Okay. Oh, can I take one more guess?
Yeah, go for it.
Kobe Bryant?
No, you get one more.
Okay. You've been Kenny McIntosh.
Kenny McIntosh, yes. Get this young man out there. Line him up in the slot. Have him run some swings, some outs, because he needs some football in his hands. The longer you get into the season, the more weapons you're going to want to use.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Actually savvy. With Toyota's certified program at Toyota of Kirkland, you can score a high-quality, low-mileage Toyota at a great price. Talk about savvy. The tremendous team at Toyota of Kirkland has plenty of certified inventory for you to come see, test drive, and take home all in the same day. Now that's truly savvy. Visit the Savvy showroom at Toyota of Kirkland today or toyotaofkirkland.com.
911, what is your emergency?
There's a fire in my building. Please send help right away.
What is the address of the fire?
My address. Hold on. Oh, wait. The fire sprinkler just went off, and it's putting out the fire.
Good to hear. The fire department will still be dispatched as a precaution.
Fires are fast, but fire sprinklers are faster. Fire sprinklers get water on a fire immediately to protect you and your property. Install fire sprinklers in your home or business today. Brought to you by Puget Sound Area Fire Protection Contractors.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call a physical therapist directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
Does your snoring keep others awake at night? Choking or gasping can be even worse. Hi, I'm Dr. Nick Kugler with the Washington Center for Sleep. Snoring is often a sign that something is wrong. Don't ignore it. We can help fix it. We specialize in treating snoring and sleep apnea so that you can get better sleep, giving you more energy and a more fulfilling, healthy life. Visit us in Seattle, Bellevue, or at wasleep.com. That's wasleep.com. Sleep better, feel better. That's the Washington Center for Sleep way.
The noon hour of the Bump and Stacy Show is powered every day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy without pain and without surgery. Whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ziprecruiter.com/radio. That's ziprecruiter.com/radio. ziprecruiter.com/radio.
This hour is brought to you by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I was looking forward to seeing this Seahawks defense go up against Tua and the rest of this Miami offense as somewhat of a, test, right? Just to kind of...
measuring stick.
Yeah, thank you. That's a better word for it. A measuring stick to kind of see where they're at and... how good they really are, and a chance for Mike McDonald to scheme against a quarterback and a coach that have been together for a little while. It's not going to happen that way, and he's officially been placed on IR. They are going to go against Skylar Thompson this week, who will be the starting quarterback. But that doesn't change.
Capable guy, by the way.
That's what you said.
He is a capable guy. He is not... he's got a little athleticism to him. He comes from one of my favorite schools where I may be next week, Salk, out in the Little Apple there at Kansas State. Yep. Just a tough, tough physically, tough mentally, not going to be overwhelmed and crippled. He's hung around this league for a bunch of years.
Like 3.
No, he's older than that.
I think he was a 7th-round pick 3 years ago.
Are you sure?
No, but that's what I think I read the other day.
Oh gosh, it feels like it's been a little bit longer than that. He's been in this system.
Think so.
He knows it, and this is a system. And I know you got a bunch of fun sound you want to play. This is a system that is first and foremost built on their run.
He was his 7th round in 2022.
2022.
So he's only been. This is his 3rd year in the league.
Wow.
Yeah.
That surprised me.
He was
Feels like
the 247th overall pick of the Dolphins 2 years ago.
Okay. So hung around there and been in that system with Mike McDaniel. And it's going to be a run pass option system, right? And that's going to be some of the challenge. They're going to, when you give up, as G said, and me Bain on their podcast, 185 rushing yards in this league, Salk, and you show a little bit of that vulnerability, you know what you're going to get a huge dosage of?
Mm-hmm.
That. And Mike McDaniel, one of the more creative guys, is a play caller. Spent a year plus as an assistant O-line coach to really learn the ins and the outs and the intricacies of how to put together a very good run plan. And with a backup QB, you're going to lean into that. And this defense is going to have to stop it on the edge, have to stop it on the interior, and stop, a whole bunch of zone action that will be a really good test for.
Here's what Mike McDonald said about the backup quarterback who will be starting.
Well, I mean, right now what information are you going to go off of? You're going to go off of preseason. You're going to go off of, the last game. Schuyler's started for those guys, probably the end of the last game. So again, you're early in the year. It's tough to make assumptions on what's going to change. So trying to just go off of, trying to stick to our usual procedure as much as we can, and then, what we think about Tyler or Schuyler, go from there.
If you gave me the choice, Salk, I would take a lesser-tiered, talented, experienced QB every time. I would. If you gave me the choice of an opponent, I would take Bo Nix, I would take Jacoby Brissett, I would take Skylar Thompson over Josh Allen, right? Mahomes.
Sure.
Even Kirk Cousins, experienced tier 2 guys, tier 3, Geno Smith. If you give me those guys every time. There is a little something, though, to what Mike McDonald now has had to do for 3 straight weeks, and that's prepare for someone that you have very little background in their environment in.
Right.
I mean, that is a real thing. You don't have 4 games.
I believe it, especially for him. We talked about this after week 1, right? Because his whole scheme in so many ways is more built around...
Take apart their weakness.
Right. And if you don't know exactly what they look like with that quarterback under center, that can be a little challenging. Now, he does know a lot of what Mike McDaniel wants to do, though, offensively, and he knows that he's still going to have to deal with Waddle and Hill and so many of the other guys that they have who are going to be threats in this game.
Yeah, well, you're at home, so you can't be, speaking in paragraphs out there. You got to be quick. You have to play with anticipation off the movement. Again, they do a great job. Like, you're not going to see the same pictures from week to week that you would on a normal offense. So they're going to dress it up. They're going to and it's all through in the lens of how do you create the angles, how do you set up the blocks, which they do as good a job as anybody in the league. And so you have to play with anticipation. Your calls can't be, crazy complicated. So we have to do as coaches, we have to help our guys out so they can go play fast.
I kind of like that. You got to play. We always talk about anticipation with what position?
Quarterback.
Yeah. But we got to play defensively with anticipation off of their movement. If you are late, right, and you're just kind of catching everything, guess what? That ball's going to whistle by you on that little zone read throw, that little slant route, that little vert, that little, window that they want to hit off of their movement because they've got you hesitating rather than you anticipating.
Let me play this one because it sort of works well with that cut, and this is more about what the Dolphins try to do to you.
It's an inside-out game, probably more against the Patriots, where, if you're not protected on the edges and in the alley, even though they do a great job, I'm talking about Miami, on downhill runs, there's a lot of space out there, so you gotta be on, again, who's force, who's in the alley, who's inside out, how you're playing, how your leverage blocks. I mean, that's a huge point of emphasis, I would say. New England's probably like, hey, we know exactly who's probably going to block us on this snap. How do you play that block? It's more of a person on person. Miami does a good job of bluffing off, like messing with your edges, bluffing off the, bluff kickouts, bluff cracks. So they do a really good job of putting your edge guys in stress. So we have to do a great job throughout the week of simulating those looks for our guys so they can play those blocks the right way, and then we're fitting it right around those guys.
Putting our edge guys in stress.
Yep. Instead of just like, hey, man, here comes power, or here comes a counter pull, or here comes this guy that I got to just take on and I got to set that edge. Is this guy coming in motion? Is this guy post-snap coming across the ball to seal me on an inside zone cutoff block, or is he bluffing me and getting out to the flat and just putting me in a blender? Am I getting so confused out here? Are my eyes spinning so much so that I can't react and I can't play with any level of anticipation? Because, again, I'm just catching everything that they're doing. I think you do have a benefit, and I saw some of this talked about yesterday. And actually, I ran into somebody that mentioned a name, Salk, that I think we have talked a little bit about, but not a lot, and that is Leslie Frazier.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, man, I was over there at that facility, and Leslie Frazier is just such an asset for Mike McDonald. Man, Leslie Frazier's got this Tony Dungy kind of way and presence and character to him. And, Leslie Frazier has just been just a terrific human being and high character, but a good football guy. And guess what? Leslie Frazier with Buffalo.
Yep, I got this cut too. Yeah,
did a pretty good job against
the
Miami.
one team that's done pretty well against this defense.
Bills have played them really well, so give credit to their players, their coaching staff, their plans. When it comes down to game planning and stuff, it's tough to copy teams because there's so many little details in how you're coaching stuff. So you get into if you're starting to copy folks, that's not where we want to be. So we're always looking at it through the lens of what we do. And but they do a great job with they've done a great job with Tyreek. Leslie's been in the division. He's seen these guys a good bit. So we're leaning on him this week, for sure.
That's a great advantage and a wonderful tool to have. When I think of those Buffalo defenses over the years, Salk, the strength that they would have to help kind of offset that unbelievable blur and speed that is Miami, is they've had linebackers that can run. Right, they're second-level guys. Right, when they probably too have struggled, it's been some of the power run and the size and everything else. But their second-level dudes can run, and you stole one of them in Dotson, who this should be a strength game for him. They also have had through the years very intuitive, high IQ safeties, which is exactly what you should have and do have in a Julian Love and a Jenkins. And then ultimately, you got to have some corners that you feel comfortable that you can play man in. Right, there are a lot of teams in this league that when they would face when they are going to face the Dolphins, they're like, crap, I would like to do this, but I can't leave him on an island. I can't put in risk, having eyes to the backfield and risk a commitment stopping the run and leave that guy in any one-on-one. We're dead. But I think when you got Spoon that could run with Tyreek, when and certainly Woolen can even run faster or as fast as Tyreek on a football, you feel a little more comfortable. Okay, those guys are going to have to be out on an island at times, so we can really commit to stopping the run and then get them to these third down situations where it should be advantaged with all that we can do in that down.
Is that where this game ends up being decided, on the Seahawks defense, Miami offense side of the ball, or is it the other direction?
I think so, because if that group can slow them down and stop them, and they're going to get some plays, they're going to get some yards, they're going to do those things. But if they can get a sack, fumble, if they can get a takeaway, I think your offense should be capable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know Jalen Ramsey is going to do all he can to mess with DK, which will be also an awesome thing to kind of keep an eye on and see how much growth and development there is out of our number 14 with that, because exactly what his game plan is going to be. This Miami defense is pretty fast, but they're playing on the road, and they are 3,500 miles, not 3,000. They are 3,500 miles away, and I think the Seahawk offense should have enough weaponry to do their thing.
DK did talk about that, by the way.
I mean, with any corner, whenever you got a DB and a receiver going against each other, it always brings out the best competition, in my opinion, especially going against a great corner like that. But I've had a good chance to go against two good corners in Gonzalez and Surtain the first 2 weeks. But looking forward to another battle. Nothing different, still football at the end of the day.
No different, because this guy's going to try to choke you. right? Like this guy, honestly, is so physical, Jalen Ramsey, and he tries to do and instigate and in every way get DK out of his game. Surtain is a phenomenal athlete and is a better athlete, I think, at this stage than even a Jalen Ramsey is. But he doesn't have that, he doesn't have the psychological warfare in the history that Jalen Ramsey does. Nor does Christian Gonzalez, a very nice and talented and big and super athletic coming out of Oregon and, high round pick there to New England. All that's great. This is the dude that is going to try to stir you and get you out of your game. Every play, every series, all game long. And it's going to try. Oh, gosh. Come on, DK. Keep it cool, man. Keep it cool. It's just a holding call. That's just a personal fault. No. Keep it cool. Keep it cool.
It's really not even a big deal. So yeah, there you go. You gotta like their chances though, right? At home against a team starting Skylar Murray. Skylar Thompson.
That's good.
Is he like Kyler Murray?
Sure. Yeah, they can be related.
A little bit. You do. I mean, this is one of those chances to bank a victory, man. Get it done. Right? This is your Mariners in April and May. Like, go get it done. This is still a good team, even without Tua. And heck, by the way, Tua really struggled and threw 3 bad picks before he ran headlong in. Right? I mean, he was not playing great. And on big stages and on the road, Tua has thrown a bunch of picks and given teams the ball. So it's not like, they're losing, Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen even. Like, Tua's a good player.
Sam Darnold or
tier 2
one of the top quarterbacks in the league this year, right?
That's right. But yeah, this would be one that, and man, you get to 3-0. You really help yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
You really help yourself to what's coming in the division.
Yeah.
And down the rest of the way.
Yeah, you put yourself in a position, obviously, at that point. Because as we said, by the end of this week, either the Rams are going to be 0-3 or the Niners are going to be 1-2.
Yeah, and I think the Rams are probably going to be 0-3.
Probably. I mean, I think I tend to agree with you. But one of those two things is going to be true.
Yep.
Kind of crazy.
Yes.
And if you can get to 3-0, I know that you're not there yet. I'm not trying to count the chickens.
Yep.
It really puts you in a much different position for the rest of this season.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. All those numbers and all those playoff odds and all those things that you do hate because you do play out an entire season and you have no idea with an injuries. And the injury report this week just shows you that even when you came out of that game, right, you did not think on Wednesday that practice report and injury report would look anything like it looked yesterday.
True.
That you got to bank every one of these when you get an opportunity.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. That'll be Sunday, 1:00 start here in Seattle, Miami in town, and to get you ready for it, of course, we got Hawks Live tonight. Now, am I reading this right? Different crew tonight. We got Jen Mueller and Jordan Babineau starting at 7:00, Bellevue Square Center Court. Live broadcast, preview of this week's game, and a visit from Christian Haynes. Well, that sounds pretty good. That's tonight at 7, Bellevue Square Center Court. You can learn more at seattlesports.com/events. Yeah, get yourself over there. Hang out with Jen and Jordan and some of the rest of the crew there from the Seahawks post-game show.
I saw you looking in here, noticing that our boss stopped by.
What's up with that?
She heard you complaining about getting up for our show in the morning.
Oh. Yeah, and I've complained to her. She can come right back in, have her sit down. Have her sit right here. We'll talk all about it again.
That's what you think she came to talk about.
Yeah.
What she really came to talk about is the 6 low T centers that have already reached out. That's what you think
you
she
think
came
that?
down for.
I think she just wanted to make sure she had a front row seat to get some great fantasy advice from Maura for this weekend.
All right. I chose some music. Oh, yeah. Do we need to play the beginning of Brent's
I thought you were going to.
football forecast?
I thought you were going to go with that.
I thought it was a little aggressive.
It's too aggressive for you. It's fair.
I just got some Gangstar. That's all right with you?
Gangstar's always all right with me.
Who is this?
Gangstar.
Gangstar? That's
Gangstar.
That's what I said. Gangstar.
Gangstar.
Gangstar style.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not Gangstar style.
You guys are doing the whole Cool Whip thing right now from Family Guy. And you don't know what that is. All right.
All right. I'll start kind of like I did last week with just some general thoughts on the week. First of all, if you have any players on the Broncos, I would just sit them, all of them, because they are a disaster. Yeah, but Mo Picks, as our friend in Here's the Thing said, they just have become so one-dimensional. Everyone knows they're not going to stretch the field. Bo Nix is their leading rusher with 60 yards through 2 games, and his touchdown
rush against the Seahawks is the only touchdown they have scored on offense this season. So running backs Javonte Williams and Julio McLaughlin, they're averaging like 2 yards per carry. I would sit both of them. Josh Reynolds, the wide receiver, is really the only player that's put up somewhat respectable numbers through 2 weeks. He has 9 catches for 138 yards, but
and they're in Tampa, right? Are they in Tampa?
Yes, they're playing the Bucs this week.
Yeah.
And then at the other end of the spectrum, the Saints offense has been incredibly explosive so far. They've scored 91 points in 2 games. The next closest is Arizona with 69. New offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak seems to have them really clicking on all cylinders. Alvin Kamara looks like himself again after kind of a disappointing year last year.
I don't mean to interrupt. Did I see a headline the other day wondering if Clint Kubiak was going to be the next head coach of the Giants?
Oh.
Like they're already having that conversation.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's fair, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
If you watch Hard Knocks, wouldn't you want to go work in that organization?
No. No, I would not.
Well,
Anyway, sorry, Maura. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's great. I think they are doing the most pre-snap motion of anyone in the NFL, and it seems to be working. Kamara has 290 all-purpose yards and 5 touchdowns in 2 games. Rashid Shaheed is a huge deep threat. He's averaging 24 yards per reception.
Rashid Shaheed?
Yep.
Why do I not
Wide
know
receiver.
that? Rashid Shaheed?
And Derek Carr has posted 21 fantasy points in each game. So if you have added him to your roster, he is a legitimate fantasy quarterback starter right now. Chris Olave is someone a lot of people keep asking me about. He's been off to a slow start, but I think this is the week he can break out. The Eagles secondary, the Eagles, their secondary's given up the 3rd most fantasy points per game to wide receivers with an average of 47. So I think they can get him involved this week.
Rashid Shaheed was a Weber State Wildcat, Brock.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to figure out. I know most of these guys in the league. I never saw Rashid Shaheed.
Is that who the Huskies played this year? Weber State?
opener.
Or was that
Yeah.
Murray State?
It was Weber.
Okay.
That was Weber.
Yeah. Okay, so those are kind of my general recommendations. If you want to look at this matchup, the Seahawks and Dolphins, I like Zach Charbonnet this week against Miami. It seems pretty likely that with Walker will still be out. Charbonnet may not have racked up a ton of yardage last week, but the Patriots are allowing the 2nd fewest rushing yards per game so far this season. So he has a better matchup this week with the Dolphins, who have allowed the 6th most fantasy points to running backs. And he still managed to find his way into the end zone last week. If you remember, Dolphins allowed Bills running back James Cook to score 3 touchdowns in the first half last week. And also Charbonnet added 5 catches, which if you're in a PPR and you get a point for every catch, he still did pretty well last week.
What is a PBR?
PPR means point per reception. So when he had 5 catches, you get 5 points just for that.
Really?
We're going to see any Kenny McIntosh?
I want to, but the fact that we didn't even really see any flashes of him last week.
Did anybody get any other carries outside of Charbonnet?
No. McIntosh was in for 2 plays, didn't get the ball.
No jet sweeps? None of that stuff?
None of it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And then if you have Tyreek Hill on your roster, it's hard to bench him, but looking at Thompson's handful of starts so far, Skylar Thompson, you have to view Hill, I think, now as more of a wide receiver 2 or flex option. It might be a good time to see if anyone in your league would be willing to take a risk and trade for him just based on his talent, because I just think Tagovailoa is going to be out for a while, and then I just don't have a ton of faith that Thompson's going to be able to get him the ball consistently. And they have a couple of tough matchups the next couple of weeks with the Patriots and the Titans.
Even though we went to K-State?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Feels
like we haven't been listening to Brock the last few years. Big fan of K-State.
You know what they're going to do, though. They're going to get him the ball like Deebo Samuel.
Right.
You're going to run up.
You
He's going to be a runner.
find a
He's
way.
going to be a jet sweeper. Like, he's going to be a quick screener. There's no way you can't get that guy 10 touches.
Yeah, I think, like I said, if you have him, still start him. But if you can get a good trade in your league for him, maybe consider it. Someone asked me about flexing Jalen Waddle. I probably would, like I said, consider Tyreek Hill more of a wide receiver 2 or flex right now, and I wouldn't start Waddle unless you don't have other good options. The running back, though, Devon Achane, is still start-worthy looking at Miami's run game when Tua's been out. They really haven't suffered that much. He's off to a pretty great start with 100 all-purpose yards in each game so far, 7 receptions in each game. And, the Seahawks have shown a little weakness in the run game, which hopefully they're going to shore up. But I think the Dolphins with Skylar Thompson are going to try to make that happen.
You want to see, there was a fantasy trade suggestion here, Maura. I know you got some other questions you were going to get to, but this one involves Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
Who wins this trade? Tyreek Hill and DeAndre Swift for Saquon Barkley and Jaden Reed.
Well, Tyreek Hill without Tagovailoa, and DeAndre Swift has not been off to a good start. I mean, I would think the other person wins.
Okay, so this person was gonna trade Saquon and Reed for Hill and Swift. So you say don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't.
I wouldn't. No.
Don't do that.
All right. Well, yeah. Here's some of the questions we got from listeners too. Someone asked for a tight end pickup. Tight ends are not off to a great start in general this year. The first couple of weeks, there's only been Brock Bowers, the rookie that I know Brock previewed in his draft previews, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's off to a pretty great start for the Raiders. And
Hunter Henry seemed like he did pretty well against the Seahawks last week.
Yeah, that was a breakout game for him. But yeah, so I would say Mike Gesicki from the Bengals is someone that's only 19% rostered right now. It seems like Burrow is heating up, after the slow start. And Gesicki's targets doubled in week 2. So he would be someone that I would look into, at least while T. Higgins is out. He's probably going to lose some targets when he comes back.
Okay.
Also had someone asking if they should stick with Anthony Richardson. I wouldn't get rid of him because
number 10 QBR.
Fantasy-wise, he does run a lot and he does have that big play threat. I would at least try to keep him on your roster, but I would not start him right now. They have some tough. I think they play the Bears and then the Steelers. Those are some tough defensive matchups. And then I think they get the Jags. Maybe you consider it with that game. He just does have a lot of upside for the way you get points in fantasy, but last week was really ugly, and I would not start him against the Bears this week. They have a pretty good defense. Let's see. A lot of them are just kind of, with Isaiah Pacheco out for the Chiefs, would you go Carson Steele or Kareem Hunt? Someone asked about that. They also do have Samaje Perine, although I think he's going to be more of the pass-catching back. I would go with Carson Steele. I think they're going to roll with him. Kareem Hunt just got signed, and he wasn't in anyone's training camp, so I doubt that he's going to be the guy getting all of the
Carson
carries,
Steele,
right?
by the way, the manifestation of He-Man.
Yeah.
He looks just like He-Man.
Really?
Did you watch
Yes.
the Monday night? I think it was their first game of the season.
Power of Grayskull?
With the alligator?
Yeah,
He's
he has
an
a pet alligator. Like
Yes.
someone gifted to him
What's
when he
this
was
guy's
younger.
name? Carson Steele?
Yeah, he looks. If
Long
He-Man,
blonde hair.
Oh,
if
wow.
He-Man were an NFL player,
Yeah.
it would be Carson Steele.
Oh, the power of Grayskull.
I was listening to a fantasy football podcast yesterday, and they were talking about how a lot of people describe Isaiah Pacheco's running as like he's angry at the ground.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were trying to describe Carson Steele's, and they said it's like an old man falling forward and losing his momentum.
Looks like a guy who's trying to get after Skeletor.
Yeah, and Lyle, don't you throw your Modern Family Cool Whip stuff at me, because you have no idea who He-Man is, nor the power of Grayskull.
Nor Skeletor.
It wasn't even Modern Family I referenced.
Whatever you did.
Family Guy. What was the little guy who flew around with He-Man? Was it like Orc or something?
What? I watched him, and I don't remember that.
You don't remember the little thing that flew around?
That wasn't Gazoo, right? That was Flintstones.
No.
Lyle, do you know the
I thought it was
Flintstones at least?
Orko.
Orca?
Yeah.
Lyle, are you familiar with Barney and Fred Flintstone?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Barney Rubble? Okay.
Yeah, little Orko. He was a big
Little
part of
Orko.
He-Man. He
Okay.
flew all around. And,
All right.
yeah.
Mora,
Are we going to go?
terrific
Mora, great
job.
job as always.
Yeesh.
There's some fantasy advice from Mora. We'll do that
she's
every
in her
Thursday
mentals
at
on that.
9:45.
So
I
smart.
know. Yeah, she's on it.
Gosh.
I hope tomorrow's calm, chill.
10-0,
Brady's going to
baby.
be in.
You have some control over that.
No, I don't.
So, 10-0.
I have nothing. I have no control over anything more. Brady will be in tomorrow, and we'll have Daniel Jeremiah at 8:30, which should be fun. 6 o'clock, we'll get underway. Stick around for Bump and Stacy next. Until then, the hay.
Here's in the bump.
See everybody.
Get to the chopper! Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
After this weekend, 3 games in, Mike McDonald could be dealing with something that he probably thought he wouldn't be dealing with all the hype behind the Seattle Seahawks. For the national perspective, if they're 3-0, people are going to be like, oh my God, Hawks are contenders.
Yeah.
But we know they got to twist some.
I almost want, even though I would always root for an underdog, the Saints to lose, because if they drop anywhere close to 40 on the Eagles, they're going to be the story, and the Seahawks are going to be, hello? What about me?
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports Sports app.
Hey, it's Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy, inviting you to come to work for IRG. With just over 40 locations in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, you have the opportunity to work in the city and place you want with a great team, a great atmosphere, and great mentorship.
Shannon, what type of staff are you looking to hire? Is it just clinical staff right now?
We are looking to hire not only physical therapists, but also occupational therapists, exercise techs, athletic trainers, front office coordinators. We have a whole platform of different services we provide to the community.
Over 40 clinics in the Pacific Northwest. There are openings across the whole company. Head over to irgpt.com/careers and apply today. But Shannon, will they have any fun coming to work at IRG?
Oh my gosh, Brock, that's what it's all about. We want to have fun. We're all about passion. We're all about positivity. We want people to change lives. That's what we're doing here at IRG. We're changing lives, not only of our employees, our patients, and our communities. We want you to be your best self.
So head over to irgpt.com/careers, irgpt.com/careers, and apply today.
Choose the right flooring for your home, right in your home, with Floor Coverings International. They bring the mobile showroom to you, loaded with samples of carpet, LVP, hardwood, laminate,